Mousesports are banging tables, waving their arms around. Nico ain't being calm. He's not a calm in-game leader like Godby is. This is a guy that's actually raging at his teammates, and it just seems like they go to pieces, faster than a leper in a wind tunnel, like all the time. It's just they cannot maintain that sort of constant calm level. Meanwhile, NIP, you've seen it even when they were having bad rounds yesterday. Threats playing with a smile on his face, being the serviceable player, and in that sense, it is actually quite similar to Fifth Lauren. He's just making himself, he doesn't need to be the star. All he's got to do is hold an angle, give them information, and then make calls after he dies. And then you've got two of the greatest players ever to play in the form of Forrest and Get Right, and exist. We all said this since he's not been an in-game leader, and that's been kind of taken away from him a little bit. He's actually started a frag again, so it's just amazing to think how far NIP with the standing are ahead of Mousesports.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. That's going to do it for Map 1. Obviously, a decisive victory with Ninjas in Pajamas, 16-5. It's not over yet for Mousesports, but they are definitely on the do-or-die bubble right now. Next map is going to be Cash. It is also Ninja's pick. After the break, we're going to break down Cash, and then we're going to get right into it.
Flash comes out, it goes over him, and he's got a new position. They might not expect this whatsoever. There's the first kill. Speedy stays alive, gets the second as well. Hero play from Speedy and Oscar with this AWP in a 1-on-2. He's got to save it, but it's not going to happen. And mousesports has earned their way in overtime.
It's amazing. I mean, it's the most important tournament to qualify to, and it's really an amazing feeling.
And it's a Tech-9, which he favors up close. In fact, more so than the AK in some certain situations. He's going to try and use it, and that is exactly why! It's Chris J hits 2 quick headshots.
I didn't excited that much because I needed to qualify first. When I qualified, I feel amazing to play for that prize pool. It's amazing.
They have got some incredible fragging ability in them. Great aimers, great fraggers when they're on point. They seem to be a very good side with the Deagle. Nico again in particular. When all of mousesports is firing on all cylinders, they're very, very potent indeed.
Now with Nico, it's more fast-paced. We have our set strategies and we have some tactics that we are playing, but there's a lot more about individual skill right now.
We have the next step to do to perform great on the major. And I hope for close games and big plays. We're really motivated and we want to show what the German scene, what we can show.
From the playoffs on, it's all how you can hit your shots on the day. And it's also a bit of luck, of course. Depends which enemies we face. I'm really excited to play in the major.
Welcome back, folks, to the MLG Columbus Counter-Strike Major, first one of 2016. We're halfway through, potentially, our first matchup, mousesports and Ninjas in Pajamas. Unfortunately, mousesports is sitting on the bubble that when I used to go to CPLs and play with UGP, they're really close to what we used to say lose to in barbecue, because we would always go and get our butts kicked and then have a good time. So, and again, where it gets ugly for Nip, I should say for Mouse, is this is Nip's choice.
What did you do after you lost to have a good time? That's what I want to know.
We barbecued. We ate, we drank, we had a good time. We were in Texas, right? So you barbecued. It's Nip's choice. They start on T side, Duncan. So your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, yes, when we saw them play against Flipside, T side was where they were doing a lot of work. They were pretty good there. It seemed like actually Threat had a lot of the things you expect from his teams. They had the Molotov strategies. They had a pretty good approach overall. And he said in the interview afterwards, one of the first things he did in the team is bring in this tactical approach. They went away from that whole Nip, we play loose and the Stars do whatever they want. That's not the case anymore. So T-side I expect to be good. Where they had their issues in that particular game was with Threat and with what they were doing on the CT side. Because what they found out was you can't really hide him, especially because, unfortunately, they were trying to use him to play mid all the time. And mid is like not just an information position, but you have to be able to hold it, basically. Like, if you have to give it up like he did, then you're going to be at the whim. This is what we've always seen about Cash. The teams that can just take over mid, you're just at their mercy at that point in time. They can choose where they go, and even worse, they can, like, box you in, then cut off half the map from you. So we saw that's how Flipside was able to exploit them. Now, I will say, Flipside at least is a team with a tactical routine. They at least have players who fit the roles in the team. I don't know that mousesports can do that. That's where I'm worried. I feel like it has to be, like, fragging that's going to get them in the game. Like, the person for me on this map that can give mousesports a chance, I won't say Nico because he does it every time anyway. I think it's Chris J. Like, on CT side, if Chris J can be good enough to neutralize some of Nip's T side, maybe they can get in the game. Because the big thing is, I don't see mousesports having this crazy, like, 10, 11 round T side. I don't think they're actually capable of it at the moment. They're not a particularly good tactical team, so it's an uphill battle for the mousesports guys, I think.
Yeah, this is another map where tactically you can just pick teams apart on your T sides, which I think is going to be great for Threat. But one other way in which that's helping is we saw in Cobble Get Right when he's doing his lurk position, when they're pulling teams in different directions and confusing teams, Get Right on the lurk actually turns into an entry. When he feels that defense is starting to rotate away and gets weakened, he actually can get more aggressive at the right opportunity and open up a bomb site and secure the other side of the map. I think that's a really good point about Threat on the CT side. I think he needs to be used in more of a rotation role from the A or B bomb site so he can actually use his ability to read his opponents to get into the correct spot.
And you?
Yeah, just kind of echoing what the guys said. The guys that have gone first kind of said it all, really, that you've got to put Threat in the rotator position, use him for information. It's going to be, I think they'll have somebody competent this time, whole mid, because that was the big problem on the CT side for NIP.
Yeah.
But I think they're warmed up. I think they're ready to go. I think mousesports are on tilt, and I think this is actually going to be a 2-0 now.
Yeah, and I imagine if mousesports did their homework, they watched that match, they caught up on it, and again, if they move Threat, it changes everything. But we shall see. That's going to do it for us on this this segment of this map. And again, it's It's going to be Anderson Semmler. They're going to bring you the action. It's going to be cash, and it could be go home time for Mouse Sports, or we could go to a third map, which, of course, we all like to see lots of Counter-Strikes, so maybe that'll happen, but it's definitely an uphill battle for Mouse Sports. And again, Anderson Semmler are going to walk you through cash. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Sir Scooch. And yes, we are heading into cash here. Mouse Sports are mapped down in NIP, in terrific fashion, taking away a cobblestone. And you've got to imagine right now the pressure has got to be mounting. And Mouse Sports are already sort of, they have sort of a bit of an emotional approach almost. Chris, I think for a long time, he had like a moment where he actually came out of that for a while. He started feeling like, all right, he could play really well on land too. And then it's become a bit shaky afterwards. And the rest of the team as well. Speedy was always playing very well on that first map. Nico is always playing very well.
Yeah.
But they need the rest, They need the rest to be essentially land-proof at this point in time.
Everybody on NIP was hitting shots in that last map. We need Mouse Sports to be doing the same here if they want to have a chance at staying alive in this tournament, because now it's all or nothing. It's all sorted for them on this one map. They need it desperately to go to the third map and get that win. So let's see what we're going to have in store for us here. We're going to be getting into the first pistol of this map. And already, Spitty, he's going for the utility. He's got the kit and flashes. Let's see if they go for the raid boss strat. And they don't actually go for the raid boss strat this time around in NIP. They've been pretty consistent with giving Get Right that Tech 9 and Kevlar and letting him just go to work. But this time around, Threat, he's prioritizing flashes and smoke.
Yeah, and we were pointing out sometimes you can tell a lot, and we called it a bit on Cobblestone. Sometimes one smoke's all you need. Threat has already put it up, and I really need to know where that went. Looks like it's just...
Oh. He's used it to block off the main entrance.
Yeah, so Guerrero is very good at doing this walk-in on B-bomb side Cobblestone. See if they could do something similar here. He's in checkered, so no one can roll through to the vents, but that's a brilliant shot coming out of Chris. Gonna be killing Freiburg very early on, and they have control of checkered, and they got the bomb planted for checkered as well. And Mouse Sports don't have a smoke, so they can't defuse in the smoke. It's actually gonna be a very, very tough retake here. Dennis looking for a shot. Nico going to say, oh, Dennis, what a kill on Get Right. He never saw it coming. Threat trapped in the corner. Mouse Sports, what a brilliant round. Nobody dies. NIP, it looked like they had just everything wrapped around that bomb site. Like they had it on full lockdown. Not a chance here.
You see, Anders, Mouse Sports, they were getting your hopes up. They were allowing NIP to feel hope, only for the fall to be that much higher, that much harder.
Well, look, so everyone made their predictions. I don't think you made one either, or did you call NIP from the beginning?
No, I think NIP are going to win this, yeah.
Right, so because I was going to go against the tide and say that I think Mouse Sports could take this. Obviously, I was really scared. I was scared of saying that now after watching Cobblestone. But before Cobblestone started, I'm going to be honest, that was going to be my call for it. Just because I want to live in a world where Mouse Sports don't have all their games be carried by Nico, Speedy showed up. I really think if Nico can get support from two other players, it can't be just one. I think we're at the stage, especially when NIP are playing this well, it has to be Nico and two others. Yeah. They don't have to play Nico's level or anything, because let's be real, they can't. But they have to be up there. 3 UMPs though, so I know that makes you happy.
Yeah, get that dirty ump money. You're going to get those SMGs. It's the best SMG right now as far as the pros are concerned, that and the MP7. Yeah. We're seeing some MP9 action as well these days. Flusha, he actually claims to have started that off with Shox, because apparently he wrecked Shox with an MP9 in a scrim, and ever since Shox has been using the MP9. So a little tidbit of information there as far as, how things are developing. But that UMP, it's really solid because it's accurate at long range, and it does the most damage. It does as much damage as a FAMAS pretty much versus armor, which is crazy when you think it's only a $1,200 investment. So now we have to see if they're actually going to be able to pull this off here. NIP not going to go for any big buys, considering they got the bomb plant in the last round. Ooh. So now it's all about getting onto this B side, it seems, for NIP. That bomb is going to be making its way through B halls. Get Right, once again, taking point.
Speedy going to end up going down. Forrest with a shot, and Chris, he's going to drop. Nico coming into it with a triple kill. And UMP actually coming into work. That looked like they were about to lose that round. And I've got to say, even though Chris got a kill in the back lines, that made me angry to look at how he was playing that position. He was out in the open, he hears the vents pop, and he doesn't sort of just like... in that position, I feel like you either have to take the fight, or at least you have to sort of get quick back to where you were. But Chris looked like he was sort of meandering around the bomb side. Should I go back to cover, or should I stay out in the open and just wait? Like, come on, Chris.
Make up your mind.
Yeah, that was upsetting to watch, so no more of that, please. Third round is coming up here in NIP. They do have rifles already due to the earlier bomb plant in the first round.
But he got the info there, Get Right. He saw that one player was in Link, and he's going to be able to catch Dennis out. Not going to get the second kill, though. Nico point blank will shut him down, and now that means that Nico can swap over. He can get an AK or an M4. That's pretty solid. Forrest is, however, going to be able to step in, take out next, and he nearly gets the wallbang kill onto Nico. This is just so back and forth right now. Crazy close match. And crazy close round. What an opening from Get Right. He gets the info and the initial kill. That puts a lot of pressure on Mousesports to shut him down.
Nico, look at how hard it is for him to find a position right now. He's got very little health, so if he's in the wrong spot, he's just going to get killed straight away. He's going to try and pop flash his way through and instantly get shot down. You could tell he felt under a lot of pressure to make a play for his team there, and maybe ended up sort of giving his life away a bit. Now, Speedy was very good in the first map. He's going to have to be huge. He needs at least 2 kills and to stay alive. This is almost too much to handle. Chris is there on the crossfire. Speedy picking up the first kill. That drops the bomb. 45 seconds left on the clock here. And you could tell Chris wants to make his way through. Speedy getting a second kill. Mousesports, they're really putting a lot of pressure on NIP here in the last 35 seconds. The bomb is inside the bomb site, so NIP can't even rotate out. Otherwise, I bet you they would have by now, but they have to sort of commit to this. And Chris has only got the scout, so can't easily get the cross kills either. And Speedy going to go down. Just a little bit of overexposure and exist to close the round with a double kill and make it 2-1. So, I mean, it looked like NIP should have been winning this round even more, but at least they were put to the test.
Freiburg actually won that round almost. He's the one who takes the fight with Speedy. He's the one who soaks the damage. Exist gets the kill on the flank, as you guys can see. Well, not just going to be a second there. Yeah, there we go. So Exist manages to get that kill, and he gets tagged by Chris. So if Exist takes the fight with Chris, we're in a 1v1 scenario. But the fact that he actually manages to stay alive, has the HP, takes the fight with Chris, manages to remove him from the map. Huge round coming in for NIP in their first buy, and that's going to allow them to really start picking things up here for themselves. They've got the 4 AKs, they've got great nades, and it's Mousesports who decide to go for the full all-out force. We're getting a brawl here, Anders. This is it. Nobody wants to give up that early edge, to give up the rounds here at the beginning of the half.
And they're putting 1 middle, 3A, and they're actually pushing aggressively. A threat here in the corner. He hasn't killed anyone yet, and it might be a little bit tricky here as well. That Mac 10 close range, the 5.7s just look more powerful, actually. One-shot headshot at that range. And they've left Speedy alone at B, right? That's also a pretty big responsibility, but it's been working out so far. This is an extremely aggressive buy coming out of Mousesports. They're risking a lot of the first half on doing this buy. But if it works, you could also bet that they will have put Nip in their place just a little bit.
Yeah, Nip, it all comes down to whether they get the bomb plant, if they're going to be in a decent spot to actually force. Look at this from Nico. He's been so lethal with this UMP. He's going to go for the close range angle here and Exist. He's trying to find just a little bit of a spot. Yeah, he has a gap to look through here at the smoke as it meets the stairs. But Nico, he's playing it safe. He's just going to be trying to back off, but Get Right's not going to allow him. Perfect timing there for Get Right to come around the corner. He rips Nico's head off, and now it's all going to come down to this push onto the A site. All of Nip about to converge, and Mousesports, they need to start rotating. Chris, he's hauling ass through CT. Spitty's at car, and now everybody from Mousesports are here to greet them.
Good little burst there coming out of Forest, just enough to get the kill on next. Now they're all showing up, and Dennis going to get the 1 kill, but Get Right cleaning up with a double of his own, going for Freiburg here. Dennis with the 2nd kill, and now it is a 1v1. Get Right going to make his jump up onto the box, looking for the shot here, and it's a headshot to follow it off. That's a quad kill for Get Right to save the round for NIP and shut Mousesports down. Now they're going to have to eco here, and well, NIP, they're going to be off to a very good start here.
And we're seeing the same from Get Right as well. He had a very strong start on Cobblestone, and this time around, a quad kill for him in a key round that really just, well, that would have actually set Nip up to get an easier round, right, to put Mousesports on a force, or on an eco rather. But look at this, it's another force from Mousesports. They just want to go toe-to-toe here with NIP. They realized it was that close. It was, I mean, a 1v1 clutch means that Nip have to spend all of their money to get re-equipped in this round. That's what's going through Mousesports' head right now. They're saying, if we can break them here, we're the ones with the economic advantage, and then it's NIP who are in an awkward force buy scenario.
Yeah, but that logic doesn't work like this.
Chris is just wishing he could wallbang there.
I just can't even. This is... I mean, it's definitely partially true, but it's more than that. It's a mad idea. When you're down a map in an elimination like this is just too much of a risk to take, I think.
They need to calm down here. Get Right. What a nade. Just banks it off the wall, dunks it onto Chris. That was huge because they didn't want to challenge into that deagle. That was well played by NIP, using the nade to get the kill onto Chris instead of charging in there and, running into the ambush, basically. But now, NIP, they're the ones with the edge, and Nico, once again, feeling like he has to make the play. He's going to just lurk his way through into A main. He gets a kill onto Threat, but Force is there to get the refrag. And, I mean, Nip, if they lose Threat and trade with him round after round, they're going to be perfectly fine with that. I mean, sure, it sucks for Threat a little bit, but The rest of the team are going to be like, that's fine. We accept this. Now let's go ahead and actually just execute.
Well, Nex and Dennis are at the right bomb site. Speedy's rotating in as well. They've got a really good read right now. Mouse Sports, they just don't have the weaponry to deal with this, and that's the problem with this continuous force-up idea. Freiburg is going to get the Molotov kill, and then they just clean it up. They only lose threat. I mean, all right, so there's only one team in history that's really sort of reliably been able to get away with this, and that was Envy when they were sort of in their prime, right? They're very good at doing this, but even they would prefer to try and play this way when they're on the terrorist side. And that's because it makes so much more sense to do it on the terrorist side. When you're on the CT side, I mean, okay, let's put it through this way. If it made sense for them to do it in the last round, why doesn't it make sense for them to do it in this round? Like, if you sell this logic to yourself, you might as well keep doing it at that point, because, I mean, what if you got to lose right now? It's not like, well, NIP have a bit more of an economy, but it's still just so sketchy. I think I kind of enjoyed them doing it in the in the fourth round. I feel like now it's too much.
Really appreciate what NIP are doing in this round now. They haven't really gone for the boost up to mid. And now they're really, now they've got the mid control. They've used a Molotov to clear out sandbags. All they have to do is wait and see where Mouse Sports are going to be waiting for them. I mean, they already have a man in Link. There's going to be 2 of them there pretty soon. That's Spitty and Nex just waiting, but the smoke goes down. So now Mouse Sports, they're a little in the dark as to what NIP are doing. And in the meantime, Get Right, he's managed to work his way all the way out onto that B site. He's through into Checker, and you guys can see he's shoulder peeking his way in there, trying to see if he can spot anybody out from Mouse Sports. And pretty soon here, NIP are going to realize, wait, there's actually nobody here. They tried to stack A on us, boys. So this is it. Should be a free round for NIP.
Yeah, and the Swedish team also not afraid to use Molotovs and grenades to clear out the bomb site, even if they could probably guess that they were going to be up against just pistol and no armor here. It's still very good that they're actually using the money to just play it really safe, right? And they clear out the round no problem. It is fun, isn't it, to see Get Right being so aggressive with the entry. I mean, he was playing with the SMG this time around, but he's doing it on Cobblestone as well. It is a break from his style of otherwise being the lurker.
Yep.
If you go back and you watch Counter-Strike if you find demos or videos or whatever from 2013, all the way into the middle of 2014, you see Get Right just being, so the whole team plays somewhere else and Get Right's alone. And even if it's this is sort of the core of it, even if he's alone in a 1v2 or 3, then he turns up, cleans up everything, and that's how NIP win rounds,
It's similar to what we see from Mouse Sports these days, with how Nico lurks and then the rest of his team are on the other side of the map. I mean, that's old NIP style, basically. So we're seeing that real evolution in NIP's play. Get Right, he's willing to take point, and again, he's the one leading the charge here with that UMP. He wants to put that pressure into Checkered, and he's going to be able to clear it out once again. But this time around, things are different. Chris J, he's got that op waiting for them on the B site, and he's got Speedy there to back him. So the defense is going to be set for Mouse Sports. NIP now, if they try to push out onto this side, it's going to get nasty for him.
Oh, wow, look at this as well. As Freiburg boosts him up, they actually swap so that Get Right has more of a chance, because that's not an angle you'd be expecting if you were holding the headshot box here in the middle. So if he has the AK, he has to be able to one-shot someone and not sort of long spray down with a UMP. So that's such a quick adaptation from NIP just to sort of improvise that. Get Right, I'm expecting maybe there could be someone hiding by sandbag still.
This is so scary for Mouse Sports, though. Look at how they're set up on this map right now. They're so passive. They have no info as to what is actually coming at them. They've just decided, you know what? We're going to sit on these bomb sites. We're going to allow you to execute, and we're just going to cross our fingers and hope that when the time comes, we're going to hit the shots. But Nico, he's already down to 34 HP, and he's about to get overrun because the push is coming into the A site now for NIP, and Dennis is going to be the one to have the impact to start things off here for the CT side.
Well, Nico going to be shutting down
Nex,
Exist.
come on.
Yeah, that's not a time to kill a teammate, and maybe especially not if it's Nico, but I think maybe there was some confusion about the forklift then. Get Right is miles away, and I'm confused about why he's rotating in like this. I thought maybe he would sort of stay in highway or even rotating in CT spawn, just try and catch them from coming up from behind, but now he's in main instead. The bomb is planted default. So again, Freiburg and Threat picking up a kill each. Next going to be going down to Threat. Picks up a triple kill in total in the round. And that was the big buy round for Mouse Sports here. We're now looking at a 5-2 scoreline. And Mouse Sports, I don't know. You're absolutely right. I think you're dead on there with how passive they were playing. That gives up so much map control for NIP.
It's so, oh man. I mean, what can
Right.
you do with your Nex, really? You see somebody moving on the shadows there. Maybe he wasn't exactly aware of where Nico had snuck into. It's just when you're wired this tight, you react, and you can't really do it. Sometimes it just happens that way. So a really tough break there for Mouse Sports, because if Nico's alive, then things can be completely different having that man advantage.
And a good little point by our observer there that sort of 3 out of 5 rounds, NIP have only survived with 1 or 2 members, and the other 2 they've been doing well, but it definitely makes a difference. Nico with a nice opening Deagle headshot to take down Exist. That's what we need, and we need a lot more of it right now from our sports.
Yeah, Nico demonstrating that the Deagle, you know, the shoulder peek with the Deagle, he's just so good at it if you get that timing down. Well, this is going to be the full buy for NIP. They're down a man. This is a quasi-buy coming in here from Mousesports. And as you guys can see, Freiburg, he's actually going to be the one to catch out Speedy. But Mousesports, this time around, they decided, I want to see them do this when they have rifles. They decide in this quasi-buy to put up a bit of a stiff defense over in mid, right? They put 4 players there initially, waiting to see if NIP were going to go for this kind of boost play, try and take over mid the way that they've been doing with Get Right. But instead, they're going to do it on a round where they actually have pistols, not the best firepower. So NIP still have a huge edge in this.
Molotovs and sandbags and to vent, which is a bit of a shame that's what Chris was holding. Would have been nice if he could have got a kill there. Chris and them, so you're going to get the 1 frag in. Trying to see if he could maybe do a bit more, but Get Right will shut him down. And now B-bomb site is lost threat, already planning for Checkhead. And because Freiburg is here, unless he goes down, it's going to be such a tough retake here for Mousesports.
The flash in, though, that's going to give them some space. But Freiburg, he's taken a very passive position exactly over here in Toxic. And now Threat, they know exactly where Mousesports are coming from. Once this Molotov clears up Threat, he should have the line on them, and it's perfect. Although Nico is going to be able to trade 1 for 1, and he should have the info as to where Freiburg's playing from. So it's not as clear-cut now that Threat has been taken out. Smoke goes down as well. Maximum pressure here on Freiburg now to come through in the 1v1 clutch. As the bomb ticks down, it's all about Freiburg staying alive. Another fake defuse comes out here from Nico, but it's just not going to be enough. He just doesn't have time for this, and Freiburg, nail in the coffin, gets the headshot in the end. And this has got to be so fantastic for Threat. I mean,
it's a good triple kill, but I mean, it's also just Nico not even having a defuse kit, so that, you know, it would have been so hard for him to do it either way. I mean, he would have almost had to have stuck it as soon as the smoke goes up and just sort of pray that would have worked out. 6-2, and a double AWP being picked up here by Mousesports. So they are trying to change their game up. And I do want to just say, this really looks like an NIP that is miles a bit ahead of Mousesports right now. I do want to say, we have seen a number of times teams finish 10-5 on this first half of Crash on the T side and still come back and have a hard time on the CT side. So I don't want to sort of get too carried away, but NIP looking very good at the moment. Get Right Forest with 2 opening frags, only 1 being traded.
That Forest kill right there was key. Because again, Mousesports, they did it, right? They actually put up, you know, a defense in mid. They had 3 players there to start. Get Right, he went again for that play that he's doing more and more often these days, which is, you know, to flash his way out, Garage, get up under vents very quickly. This time, Mousesports were prepared for him. Bit surprising to see Chris J miss that shot.
How does that even work?
But I mean, yeah, Mousesports, they are making adjustments to their strats. It's just that right there, that was individual play. That was Forrest just stepping up and hitting a crazy shot.
If only Forrest had a grenade, he could shut down Chris immediately. He could just flash through the windows, and there'd be almost no way for him to see it coming. But he definitely doesn't. Chris gonna be defending in Toxic here, while Forrest is on the B bomb side and sort of he's got that covered at least. But
this is all up on Threat now. This is all on Threat now to figure this out. And unfortunately for him, he's about to walk into Nico, and no, Nico turns away. Oh, the timing couldn't be worse.
Speedy also's got his back turned. There it is. Nico going to be shot in the back of the head. Speedy picking up 1, though this can still work out. 30 seconds left. Are they going to actually rotate back to 8? They can still run there if they have the time. Well, they have the time for it. Speedy going to be flashing his way through once. Can't catch Threat either. This is a mad round. 2 on 2, and they're just running away from each other. NIP finally figuring out what's going on, and they're going to go for the plant on the corner there. Not my favorite plant position. Chris is coming in from main as well. Speedy, they've got them locked in right now. He has to hit the shot, and he's going to get it. Shutting down Exist, and now it's all on Threat. 1 on 2 here. Sees the gun barrel, puts a couple of shots in, but Chris picking up the double. He missed his first opportunity, but he makes up for it. And that's going to be Mousesports winning a round.
There's so much going on there as well. That's some experience. That's an offer. That's Chris J really stepping up because he doesn't get shoulder peeked. I mean, he doesn't fall for the bait. Threat goes for the intentional shoulder peek, trying to bait out the shot. And Chris J, you know, that's when you have ice water in your veins. That's when you're just like, nope, I see you coming from a mile away. He holds the shot until it's guaranteed and takes out Threat. Maybe, you know, and also this is some nerves coming in from NIP. They were both watching the same angle. They were both watching towards CT, so they were expecting Mousesports to go for the predictable play, which is, you know, rotate hard through CT and try and catch them that way. Having both players watching, though, that just broke it down. So NIP, they need to calm down again and find their center. Make sure that they're keeping that communication clear and making sure that they know exactly which angle. I mean, elementary stuff. Which angle are you watching in the after plant?
Well, a bit of a set execute, very common one here to sort of see if they can zone out the A-bomb site. Nico putting up a Molotov to try and see if he could stop them, and he's got the UMP close range again. They are making their way through threat already on the bomb site. Nico picking up 1, then 2, shutting down the bomb as well in main. What a brilliant play and assist. Oh no. Threat running right into that Molotov, and now Get Right in the middle. He's going to be knocked out by Chris AWP, and Forrest to get shut down by Nix. Great round here for Mousesports. And again, I mean, Nico, very, very sort of proactive play coming out. Not just a Molotov, but actually running through the smoke, catching them as they're trying to set up.
So many footsteps, like there's so many footsteps at that point going on. You know, Nip, they're hearing their teammates run in. And so Nico just going in behind the flash. Nip, they just have no way of knowing that this is happening until he's already on top of them with that UMP just running them down.
Literally running them down as well.
Literally, exactly. So, I mean, 4-6 now, Mousesports, they're starting to run it back. And I mean, now it's NIP, they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as the money is concerned. Again, they find themselves on 4 rifles, a single Tech-9 picked up on threat. And it's good that he's the one taking the hit because he really hasn't had, you know, the huge impacts. Kind of been donating himself. Be careful, though, Nico, with that angle through the wall bang. He can definitely take threat out if he gets it on, but it's just going to be a very default kind of setup across the board. Nex is alone in mid for Mousesports this time around, waiting to see if Get Right's going to flash his way through. But instead, Get Right is actually taking a position over here in Toxic, and he's just waiting to see if Chris J is going to let him out. And that is going to happen because those smokes go down to block to get that split on mid. This usually indicates a B split, which is why Chris J falls back from that position, and they're just, you know, falling back onto the sites now. Mousesports are like, okay, we've lost control of mid. Just get onto the sites now and just pray that we can actually shut down Nip when they come through.
This is a huge impact round in the first half because if they win this Mousesports, they will have forced NIP to eco, and that means finally they can get some breathing room. I think they just need the space to relax and calm down. In next, lining up Forrest and Freiburg, and they go down. Dennis with a kill on threat. That's a huge frag, and now it's going to be a 2-1-3. Mousesports in the lead. They desperately need this. Exist going to be sneaking around the corner. Speedy jumping in a little bit careless. You're going to be careful. And Exist missing the opportunity. Now they're going to try and double up on him. Chris to follow up. Only shows his foot there, but it's enough to get the kill. And now Get Right in a 1-on-2. And this is what he's very good at. He's only got 25 seconds here to try and make this work. He's walking into the middle. That's enough time to get the B. You could definitely do that. It's about, 15 seconds to run from highway into B, so he could definitely still make it, but gotta be careful, and Chris to shut him down, and that's 5-6. Mousesports almost equalizing. NIP, no bomb plant, and not enough money to make the buy happen here.
Yeah, now Mousesports are starting to feel the game. Now they're starting to get it going. And that was a sick play from Mousesports. They realized, wait a second, okay, because Get Right had put a smoke up to block the main entrance to the B side as well, so he was just trying to sell it as hard as possible that, hey, you've seen this before, Mousesports. Last time you saw this, we got into checkered and we started pressuring onto the site. That's when Spitty, held up on the B side in the last time. And so they're trying to play on what Mousesports have learned so far in this half. The only issue is that Mousesports are like, okay, smoke goes up. Now we need to push for info on the A site and figure out what's going on. And it works out perfectly with Nex getting that double spray down in A main. So both of these teams right now, they're firing on all cylinders, Anders. They're all hitting their shots and they're all, making the correct plays. And, this is one way to change things up. Straight YOLO rush onto the B site, but so far, the defense holds.
Well, that's a very, very good job on Speedy there. Triple kill for him. I actually think Mousesports were in a very dumb position in this round. It has to be like anyone who's ever played Cash, I think almost on any level, one of the very popular defaults if you're out of money is to Tech-9 rush the B bomb side, because all you need to do is catch someone. If they have an AWP, if Chris is out there lurking on the first corner, if he misses the first shot and he's just a little bit slow, he can't even make it back around the boxes. You're going to be on the next corner before he can make it back. You can catch them off. And instead, again, Mousesports just sort of standing around a bit. Like they were in some really weird positions there. If they lose the entry, Nip in the bomb site, they get 2 rifles, they get the bomb down, and they can win the round immediately. They should have seen that coming. Why not throw down an early Molotov? Make sure that they can't get rushed down.
Oh, this is nasty. Forrest has been boosted up into mid. Quick mid aggression again here from NIP, but Mousesports, they choose to change things up. They go super aggressive through Squeak, and now they just continue to push. Dennis not showing any fear whatsoever, and he's got Nex to back him up as well, and they just want to just completely rock NIP at this point, put a maximum amount of pressure on him, and somehow Exist. He's not even worried about Squeak. Not sure about that play there from Exist. Maybe some miscommunication as to how close Mousesports were. Well, you have to realize there is a threat, right? You can't just sit there and expect Mousesports to back off.
There is a threat, literally. But no, but I mean that can't have been miscommunication. The threat must have called out the one pushed up, but
Yeah.
Maybe they were just thinking, well, once they've been spotted, surely they're not going to continue on that push, right?
Exactly.
And that's what they did. So 6-6. The scoreline is tied here on the second map. We are just nearing the end of it as Chris is going to be taking down Freiburg. A great shot coming through, and Forrest also revealing himself here in checker. That's a big indication to mousesports that there may be a sort of a B push unfolding here. And they've rotated 3 people now towards the B bomb side. That's a heavy defense.
This should be more than enough as well. And they even play it smart. They keep Dennis up on that A site. They have not spotted the bomb yet. Forrest is going to be able to clear out the defense. That's Chris J down on the B side, so the bomb can start rotating over. Forrest, he's just doing work right now. Nico dead, and Speedy only just now getting into CT to rotate in. Dennis and Nex on their way over from the A site, and Get Right, he should be hearing the steps, but that's not even necessary. Somehow Threat takes out Speedy. And how did Nip? They have 9 seconds left, and they've completely turned this situation around.
This is a crushing round for mousesports. They had this in the bag. Now Nex is going to have to try and see if he could clutch it for them. Threat around there, just one bullet away. Get Right doesn't have a lot of health either. That's a jumping shot with the M4A1, and now Get Right. He's sneaking up from behind. Nex has no idea. It's currently a double kill. He's got the health advantage, though. He's going to try and hold it down once again. He can see Get Right coming through right here on the angle. 2 seconds. Once again, Get Right with the instant headshot. And NIP, they're going to steal a round away. Here's what crushed this round for mousesports. Get Right showing himself on highway, that instantly made them think, wait a minute, they might actually not be coming B. So they start rotating people back, and then obviously Forrest picking up a double kill to entry. But if there had been more people there, that's the first sort of thing that goes wrong. The next thing that goes wrong is Speedy. When he's up on that box, this exact kill. Threat has the bomb, and he's on 11 health when he's running in. If Speedy just kills him, there's only 13 seconds at that point in time. If he kills Threat, then suddenly NIP are in a lot of trouble. Because if they take up the bomb and just run in and try and plant, then Speedy can just follow up and kill whoever's planting. Speedy not getting the kill on Threat there is obviously massive, and oh, that's a shame.
Nice try, nice try. But Forrest was close enough to hear that, and now you can see he's already trying to check up there. He's like, okay, if you guys are boosting, I'm going to be ready for that. So a bit of information picked up there for NIP that could be crucial going into the rest of this. 2 rounds left in this first half, and NIP, they pull back into the lead with 7 rounds on the board, 6 for mousesports. And at this point, NIP, they're probably playing off that information. They're like, wait, well, okay, if there's somebody boosted, well, then we can take advantage of that. We know where one of their players is 100%. Only problem is Nico actually missed the jump. So Forrest has got to be wondering right now. He's like, okay, wait, did he make it? Did he not? Is this something we can play off of? Is this something that we can abuse?
Yeah, little known fact, you can self-boost up there if you know what you're doing.
True.
Next, going to be picking up the first shot there, taking out Exist and Dennis to follow up. And mousesports, I'm glad that they're showing some resilience here. Even though that was a horrible round for them to lose, they're not sort of mentally out of it, you can tell. And Next with a really good double kills. A Threat now going to be all on his own here. Not sure there's much of an impact he can have in the round. Even getting a couple of kills wouldn't help much here, because we're going into the 15th round, the last of the half, and the 7-7 scoreline. Considering how this started out, with mousesports winning the first 2, then losing 6 rounds in a row, I actually think they should be quite pleased with themselves right now, and NIP really won't have much. Now, the one thing, Semler, here is if they don't, I don't even care if NIP rush B or not. If mousesports don't prepare for it, I'm going to be officially angry and disappointed, Semler. Upset to the core. I'm watching them right now.
I'm sure you are, because Chris and Speedy are heading over there. Nex is in mid. They would have been in the spot. They would have been ready for it had they come through. So, you know, mousesports trying to cover all the angles, and then they go for the flash into A main. Speedy is going to find the kill, and that's actually Get Right removed from vents. But the flash into A main as well is giving mousesports a lot of information. As you guys can see, Nex is now rotating into mid to make sure that Link is not exposed, that they can't get flanked in from there. And it's all on Speedy and Chris J now to hold off this push coming onto the B site. And they're already in position as well. There should be an easy shot here for Chris as they come across. Yes, nice. Tags down Forrest. Speedy's still alive on the site. He's doing the best that he can to stay alive. And Nex is there to back up Chris J. So there's just no hope for Freiburg trying to charge down that off. It's all falling into place here for mousesports, and it's a perfect round, a flawless round to close the half. So very well done there by the defense.
Yeah, and you're right. They did prepare for it. Here's how they did it. So, Chris is exactly in the position where if it was a B rush, he's going to have a really hard time getting back from that. It's very hard to make it around the corner back again. But because they obviously had the backup in Speedy being there, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. If Chris takes a shot, kills one guy, then they think, well, we'll rush him down now, and then Speedy's there to follow up. So that's definitely a defense that's designed to deal with that kind of a potential B push. It didn't really happen, but I'm glad that they were at least thinking about it, because I can't I can't deal with people losing to rounds like that.
They went for the catch-all, right, because they also flashed into A main.
Yeah.
They had the man in mid as well to watch and see. Get right got picked off. They figured out that get right went into vents very quickly. They removed him from the map, and then at the same time, simultaneously, Mousesports are pushing into A main. So Mousesports was just like, we're actually just going to come and get you. We're ready on B side.
Yeah.
But if you're over here setting up on A, we're going to come say hello with our M4s because we know your money's wrecked right now. So we're really seeing Mousesports come alive. It's a totally different beast from what we saw in Cobblestone. They haven't been really caught, blindsided by anything NIP have done in this. There wasn't anything super clever that we've seen from Threat and the bunch.
In fact, it's even worse than that. It's even worse than that. They weren't blindsided by anything. They were shooting themselves in the foot by forcing up those rounds early on. That NIP had 6 out of the 7 rounds they got in one streak due to 2 force buys in a row that didn't really make a lot of sense. I sort of thought the first one was sort of a little bit creative. I was like,
gamble.
all right, maybe they are going to catch them off guard here. It'll be interesting, right? Then they do it again, and I slightly lost my mind at that point in time.
Can't take it away from Forrest as well with his huge clutch round. Clutch round basically, the one where they should just be down and out. Nip, no way for them to actually win it. But Forrest just goes ham, unlocks it all on that B site. So now going into the second half, this is where it's going to get fairly tricky because, are we going to be... Threat's only got the 6 kills. Exist has been very quiet as well in this first half.
And
these guys are going to have to step up in the individual level to have an impact on that CT side.
And as our panelists were pointing out, Threat could very well be the weak link here.
Exactly.
You're playing the CT side.
Find out where he plays. If he's playing mid again...
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be an issue.
That it will be an issue. I mean, if they as soon as they realize that, they can maybe just continue to sort of fight him there.
Take mid control. Force other players to come in and actually, take up some of the slack. This is going to be it, guys. We're getting into the second pistol round now. Second half. We have to see if they're actually going to be able to pull this off because, Nip won both pistols on Cobblestone. Now, if Mousesports could pick up both pistols, they're going to be perfectly set to take this map and take it to map 3.
Speedy with that Molotov makes me wonder, but look at Get Right Sneaky. They've actually got a huge boost going on in the middle, and Get Right, he might be about to hit jackpot here, but no, they're ready. Oh, what? He takes out Chris anyway after getting tagged in the face. That is such a dirty shot. That should have never happened.
That's huge. And that's really going to rock Mousesports now. They're like, okay, well, they figured out our strat, boys, so what's plan B? And by the way, we're down a man, so we have to come up with something clever here.
I mean, you're probably not going to be expecting Get Right to do that, but they were. So when you're expecting it and you still can't sort of stop it from happening, that's really more frustrating. Obviously, Mousesports still have a good chance to make an impact here.
Exist, though, his position right now. He's in a bit of a one-and-done spot. Threat gets caught out in Link. That's not going to help. Forrest is still alive, but Exist... If Forrest actually succeeds, yes, Forrest, he baits them in, and now Mousesports think that the defense is stuck on this B site. Exist, he's just trying to take the shots, but these are the shots that you have to hit, and these are often the hardest. He finally picks up 1, but he could have had 2 possibly. Forrest, though, going to go ahead and step up, and Forrest just annihilates them. They try and push in, and he gets 3 clean kills, and NIP, well, it goes both ways, Anders. Both CT sides have picked up the pistol so far on this map.
Yeah, I don't, Exist. We got the camera on him here. If that had cost him the round, which could have, you gotta wonder. But really good job there, and you're right to say as well. The information just for them to know what was coming is definitely powerful.
4 shots, 3 kills. Not bad, Forrest.
But that's gonna tie the scoreline at 8-8 here. And Mousesports without a bomb plant are gonna go for the buy, including Speedy, in fact, with the scout. So not Chris. That's interesting. Yeah,
Threat, not a big fan of how he's peeking mid there. Just jumping straight up and down. Easy shot when you've got reaction times like these players. They can hit those shots all day, and he's already been tagged down to 66. But now Get Right is rotated off the A site here to support, and they are actually, they're willing to take the fight, but just because they have the rifles, and well, Mousesports obviously stuck on pistols with this force buy. Speedy does have the scout, and he's going to be hunting, looking for the punish here. But NIP, now that they've spotted out the movement in mid, they decided to actually relinquish control of it, give it up to Mousesports, and focus on defending the sites. Although Get Right, he's in a bit of a scary spot, because if they're close link, he can get wrecked, but Get Right instead is actually going to find that fight and win it. Dennis is down.
You could see Speedy was really looking for that headshot, right? He was double scoping everything to try and make sure that was going to work out. It doesn't quite. Not a lot of mid control here for NIP, which in a round like this, it might not have a big impact because Mousesports don't have the grenades to execute anything from that kind of map control. But later on in the half, assuming it gets to that, then you've got to be careful with NIP by relinquishing that much control. Inside the bomb site, Freiburg and Forrest are in a good position, but that's a very good Deagle shot coming out. Fred's going to take him out in return. If he could have got both those kills, that would have been epic, but not quite going to be working out. And Freiburg having a grand old time with this SMG, but actually Chris with some really good peeks there. Could be close enough to maybe find the second kill. Getting shot in the back by Get Right, though. Triple kill for him, and the 9-8 scoreline now favoring NIP. Forest at 15, Get Right at 14, Freiburg at 13. There's a good sort of sequence going on at the top there, but top fragging in this game is Nico at 17 kills. Is anyone even surprised, Semler?
No. Nico, I mean, team is built around him, and he just keeps delivering. He's so consistent for Mouse Sports. Hardly ever misses a shot. I mean, it's just like in those sorts of situations where you kind of just have to like grit your teeth. You know, it's that clench moment where Nico gets closer and closer and closer and closer, and then it's just like boom, headshot. You just like, you know, it's inevitable. This guy with the deagle, he almost always finds a kill. It's crazy how consistent he is with the gun.
I was reading the article last night about how Chinese scientists have been working on human cloning, and I feel like, you know, maybe a petition to get Nico to be one of the first people, maybe. Let's build a whole team of Nico. So every member of the team is him.
I would still prioritize Olaf, but you know, Nico, fair enough.
Could be interesting to make them play a 5-on-5. Exist, Get Right with some opening frags here. Not too exciting, really, since Mouse Sports don't really have any kind of weapon or any kind of armor to fight back with. So they just lose Exist, and Get Right getting to pad his stats a little bit here. It will be a 10-8 scoreline now. NIP in the lead with 2 rounds. And on Mouse Sports, they're going to finally have the rifles here. And I really want to see them pull out, you know, something from the depths here. Something they've planned for this map to pull them through onto a third map. This is not the final chance they'll have, but we're getting close now. They're slowly but surely heading out of the tournament.
And there we go. I was wondering what the big spend was for this round. It's going to be Exist going for the Scar 20. That's a way to change things up. He's actually playing it in mid as well to start. So if Mouse Sports had tried to go for quick mid control, they'd have run right into the auto sniper. That would have been brutal. But instead, Mouse Sports, they've just slowed it down. They're playing very passive default, actually. Chris J, waiting to see if there's going to be anybody going for the counter boost. Nico, he's waiting to see if there's going to be a push on the extremities. Right now, Mouse Sports are trying to cover all their bases.
Well, look at this. I mean, we were saying, oh, Nip got to be careful about mid control. They put 3 people there, including an auto sniper.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even excessive because the only one who's really stuck in middle is Threat because he's in that corner, but Freiburg is just as much on B as he is in middle, and Exist can pretty much easily rotate wherever he wants. So, I mean, the only fear in a push like in a round like this is if there's suddenly like a huge execute on the A-bomb side. That's the one thing that could go wrong.
Did Dennis see the angle of that nade coming in? I think he just might have caught it.
Oh.
But he could tell probably that somebody's... Yeah, Chris J, he's in the prime spot right now. If Freiburg decides to show himself, he's going to be in for a bit of a rough surprise. But this is information now. Mouse Sports, they know that somebody was holding close left, and Chris, he gives up the angle. If he dies to Freiburg, we might need to get him a new mouse, because he's probably going to try and smash it through the table.
Oh, if he scopes, this is the problem. Freiburg and the flashbang comes in. Wow, all right. Chris not even being given a chance to fight back then. Dennis trying to see if he can at least get the refrag, and he's going to be successful sitting in the fire, and not much he could have done. Threat will get the refrag, and now it's a 4-on-3 here. If they can smoke off Exist with that auto sniper, the problem is, even if you put up the smoke, is it really going to be working? Smoke does come in, but it's not even a perfect one. It actually leaves a huge gap here for Exist to exploit, and Forest on the bomb side as well. Nico trying to get close. There's Nex going down. Nice shot from Nico. Exist is gone, but so's Nico, and Speedy all alone. 3 seconds left. He's going to be going down. Forest to pick up the double, and that will be 11-8.
Wow, and Forest voluntarily throws away the op to pick up that Scar 20. So they really are making this a core strat here. They want Exist to keep having the sniper. And I mean, well, I guess if Forest is just going to keep banging out headshots like that, sure, stay on the M4, Forest. Don't change up. Just do what you're doing because it's working. And Mouse Sports, yeah, they can't help but feel frustrated, especially not being able to, you know, trade effectively in mid. Freiburg, he drew that out so long that Threat was able to get in there and trade frag. Just nothing really working for Mouse Sports in that round at all, despite a sick no-scope coming in from Nico. There's only so much a man can do.
And I really do love that pop flash. You'd think that would be sort of the common way to peek that middle, but actually a lot of teams will just sort of stand up, and you saw how long Chris was holding that position, so without the pop flash, it could have gone bad.
Well, here we go. We're going to have that full smoke execute coming out here onto the A site. They just want that bomb plant, but again, with the counter boost at Freiburg, he commits this time. He's down, and if he drops Chris J, that's the bomb dropped as well. They are going to be able to snake their way out of here, Mouse Sports. The only problem is they're getting herded into the rest of NIP, who are happy to wait for him. Nico, he's wrapped his way around to quad, so he has the element of surprise, but Get Right, he's going to pick up behind them, and this is a real problem. Now he can deny the bomb plant, and just nothing coming together for Mouse Sports whatsoever.
Finally a kill happening there. Nico going to take down one, but it's just way too late. He's in the back lines here, and Yeah, he was never going to get out of that one. So Freiburg to take him out. Good double kill, and I mean almost a triple with that spray in the beginning, right? So 12-8. We're just there's a gap of 4 rounds here. I still think it's possible.
Oh yes.
But NIP's economy is actually looking very good as well. It's only really Get Right who's suffering. He's got about 1,000 in the bank, but everybody else is 5,000 or more, and that's a big problem. I mean, that means Mouse Sports, they need consecutive rounds. And right now, NIP, they have 5 in a row. Mouse Sports haven't even picked up a round here in the second half.
Yeah, no, this is just everything going Nip's way. They have full control of the situation. Once again, they're going to push Threat up aggressive. And really, man, Threat, this takes some bravery. Not 100% confident in his own ability, to get the job done, but he is taking a very volatile position on this map, trying to hold down mid and exist. I mean, that's so frustrating for Nico. It's the random wall bang through on Squeak Door, and he's down to half HP already. Get Right, he's just waiting. If Nico opens that door, face full of shrapnel, that's what he's getting. He's gonna get dunked.
Chris, he's in a really good position here, and Auto Sniper versus AWP could be working out, but he's looking the wrong way, and somehow he doesn't actually get tagged there, so Exist may be missing an opportunity to get some easy kills in there. Get Right now having to take a fight with Nico here, and that's dangerous. Even at 50 health, Nico, well, he's obviously the hard carry on this team right now. 5 versus 4. Mouse Sports with a bit of a lead.
The standoff is insane. Between Chris and Exist, they just keep avoiding each other. It's incredible. Well, now Mouse Sports, 44 seconds left, and it seems like they've done so much work here on the A site. They might be thinking about heading back towards B. Spitty has been holding B halls all this time. He hasn't seen anybody push for info either from NIP. NIP right now are content to just sit and wait. Threat, he's the one peeking out, and he's going to spot the man boosted. And that might tell Nip, well, it's all going to have to come down to the individual performance here, and Forrest is only going to trade 1 for 1. It's all on Freiburg now to hold the line.
He's doing a good job so far, but Chris will end up taking him out, and Exist, that also sniper, I mean, even with the money they have, it's too valuable to throw away. Really no point in trying to sort of engage in anything here. If he wanted to, I mean, he's kind of staying close, so maybe just hoping that they make a big mistake. If someone came barreling through this smoke and he could make it a 1v2, maybe it'd be worth it, but I don't think trying to actually clutch this makes a lot of sense. And maybe he could be just a bit of a pest anyway. Gonna end up backing off slowly. And Mouse Sports, do they want to try and challenge? It seems like Nico at least might be interested. Some shots being missed here, and Nico, very aggressive, gets the triple overall and putting himself up at 22 kills. Still leading in the game here. 19 is Get Right, closest player to him.
Yeah, he continues to dominate, man. Exist, not having a huge impact with that Scar 20 in the end. No, not on the A side or on the B side, as we saw. So he decides to go back to that M4. He had just enough money to get the full buy going, so might as well, at this point, just let Forrest go back to the AWP. Would like to see Forrest stay on the M4, to be frank, but if Exist isn't on the Scar, it seems like they have to count on Forrest to actually get the job done with the scoped rifle. Chris J, yeah, no aggressive peeks coming in here from NIP. Instead, NIP went for the aggressive mid-take this time around. Threat and Exist both there, ready and waiting to see if that boost is going to come through here from Mouse Sports. And Mouse Sports have shown that they're not afraid to put Nico up there. So this makes sense from NIP to just see if they can't catch him out.
And Mouse Sports were also worried about the boost, so they put up that Molotov that sort of goes into the wall. So, you know, everyone being a bit paranoid at the moment. Now, a minute and 20 seconds left, and they are executing onto the site here. They're already out by the forklift in the back corner here. Threat in a very dangerous position. He needs backup quick, and it's obviously not going to be Exist. He's already down. Sorry, he was Forrest in the back line here. He gets the 1 kill in. He needs more than that. He walks right into Dennis. Threat showing up, but he's going to get dropped after the first trade in. So Get Right and Freiburg now trying to get in here. Not going to be a bomb plant. Get Right being extremely annoying, and he just runs out of the bomb site again. How far is he going to continue to run here in the middle? Speedy, that's an easy kill. I think Get Right trying to throw in sort of a huge flank and run into main, which would have been interesting. But now Freiburg, he's alone and has to clutch this.
And this is a nightmare for Chris because that smoke was up. He doesn't know if somebody else rotated onto the site. Freiburg, he is playing this so passively at this point, just waiting to see if Mouse Sports are going to slip up. But this is allowing for Mouse Sports to get both players onto the bomb site now, and it becomes a nearly impossible situation now for Freiburg to come back and actually pull this off. He does have 1 incendiary to play off of. That smoke going down might help him a little bit as well. Flash is going to be ineffective. And well, now it's all about quad, and if he just uses that Molotov, this could be big. It might force Chris J out into the open, and is he going to be in position? No, Speedy! What a shot from him. He just completely counters what Freiburg was trying to attempt there. That was a big kill. And now Mouse Sports, I mean, it was 12-8. Now it happens to be 12-10. Comeback.
And even better, NIP don't have money. So, in Mouse Sports are not in as bad of a position as it maybe had seemed earlier, right? There was that really scary streak at the beginning here, NIP picking up 5 rounds in the second half. Now it's 2 in favor of Mouse Sports. They can continue to build on this. They just got to play this one smartly and not run into any stacks. Not that there seems to be any. There's a nice grenade actually going out. I think there was one earlier that Threat took no damage from for some odd reason, but this one worked quite well.
Yeah, they're really just hard countering Threat's position, playing Sugar Cube like that. Right now, I mean, this is where the nerves are going to start setting in for NIP. They've lost control of the situation. Their economy is gone. Mouse Sports are the ones who are starting to just, take control. Well, now Threat, he does get that peek, at least a little bit of info. But again, this is the problem as well. It's just that, Threat, he can't really hang around to challenge because he just doesn't have that duel capacity. He can't count on himself winning straight up man fights. Instead, he has to rely on some kind of element of surprise to work for him. And when you're playing mid, that's really tough because sometimes it does come down to you just having to be willing to put your head out there and actually take the fight.
And Nico catching Get Right, who was hiding in that corner. So a little bit of relaxation maybe coming into Mouse Sports here. Now they know they're playing against pistols. That's been confirmed, right? They definitely know that. Should give them some opportunity to close out the round here. They've got great mid control as well. Threat turning up and doing some damage there. They need much more at the moment.
Curious to see Freiburg holding close. Forrest with the dig. No out Forrest. He does get the tag instantly, but he's not going to be able to get the kill. Instead, it's Freiburg holding close with the 5-7. He does manage to capitalize on the damage that Forrest had dealt. Exist will take out Speedy as well. So on an eco, they actually managed to pick up 2 kills. But for NIP, they really needed to do more. Just make it like a 1v1 or just to inflict massive damage in that round. Because now Mouse Sports, they are building their economy in turn. They're starting to get to a comfortable spot with Nex and Nico. Dennis not too far behind. Chris J as well. And now it's just all on NIP. And let's see what kind of buy they can actually get going here. They actually have a healthy nade count, so they have that to fall back on. And Forrest, he elects not to go for the AWP. He could have gone for the glass cannon, but instead they're choosing to go with utility here for NIP. Forrest just realizing, I'm hitting shots with the rifle. Why am I going off the rifle? Just let me go back to the M4, and I'll get work done.
Threat a little bit out in the open in the middle. Got to be careful about standing around like that. Trying to see if he could take this shot with Nex. Just snuffs him. That's
what I'm talking about, though.
It's a very good kill.
It's so tough for Threat. It's such a, it's pretty much the hardest position to play on the map. If you're going to be playing mid like that in Threat, you need to be able to hit those headshots. It's so difficult otherwise.
Now look at NIP's setup here. They're playing 2 on A and 2 on B. They got 5 players live on Mouse Sports side. So if Mouse Sports just all collapse on one bomb side, we're essentially looking at sort of 2 people having to defend against 5, and the backup's going to be quite far away. That's also why NIP, what they're doing here, makes so much more sense. Try and see if you can't be a little bit more mobile so you can at least get something working out. They're actually crunching in on the middle and trading quick there. Chris with a nice follow-up, taking down Exist. And now Get Right and Freiburg. They're on either side of the map. I much prefer it when I actually think stacking 3 people in mid like that is a very good idea when you're in a position like they just were.
One of them will die, but this could actually work for NIP in the sense that they're rotating both over to B. Mouse Sports are going A. They can be able to hold on to their guns here, NIP.
Yeah,
that's the big you have to look for the silver lining sometimes. The fact that it's a 2-on-4 situation, likelihood of them, being able to get some mad spray, catching out 3 players from Mouse Sports and turning it around, highly unlikely.
That's what you'd have to believe if you were NIP. If you left Get Right alone up there, you'd have to think, well, Get Right probably get like a 4 kill a year. It is Get Right, but still, I think that would be unreasonable to assume here. Actually, just while the bomb is about to go off here, and obviously Mouse Sports looking for NIP to take these rifles away, Pimp on Twitter was making a pretty good point, saying the next round of European major qualifiers is going to be nuts as hell, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
We're going to have either one of these 2 teams in the qualifier. We're going to have either Virtus Pro or G2 in the qualifiers as well.
Envy.
Envy in the qualifiers, right? So,
and that's not even counting the guys who just couldn't make the cut this time around.
Exactly.
Like the Dignitas.
Oh. That's a huge kill. Nico, they clean up both the rifles as the time is running out, or the bomb's going up in that round. I think Mouse Sports have a very, very good shot at pushing us onto a 3rd map here. It's tied, scoreline 12-12. They got utterly annihilated on the first map on Cobblestone. They didn't stand a chance. NIP were out-aiming them individually and massively outplaying them and out-calling them on a tactical level. And it didn't look like it was going to be much better on this half here. I mean, this game started off being 6-2 in favor of NIP on the first half until finally Mouseport made it back. And then, obviously, we had a 5-round streak at the beginning of this half in favor of NIP. So a lot of things have just not worked out for NIP. But, for Mouseport, now they're finally back into it here. They're actually making it work.
This is what everybody's been saying, though. It's like they figure out where Threat is playing, and they just hit that position time and time again. And then NIP, they feel like they have to overcompensate for that. And we just got the clear image right there. Freiburg, instead of backing off in vents, he's feeling the pressure, like, I have to make the play. He goes out, Chris J's there waiting for him. Exist comes out on short, Chris J's there waiting for him. It's just all Mouse have to do is just keep rinsing and repeating this. Apply pressure on mid. Either you get the kill on Threat, or you force NIP into an uncomfortable situation that you then play off of on the extremities. But, putting 3 in mid or something like this, right, for NIP. But it's just, it's a really difficult situation right now for NIP because Mousesports have just figured out this big glaring, weakness that they have in their defense. And it just sucks for them. It just sucks for Threat because, like, what can you do? You've been playing the game for 2 days before the event. It's supposed to be Pyth, here. It's supposed to be Pyth, this heavy hitter, who's going to be here to, round out the roster for NIP. I mean, yes, Threat we saw on Cobblestone. I mean, brilliant mind when it comes to CS and the strats that he's been able to bring in here. But when it just comes down to that 1v1 capacity, I mean, if Nex keeps getting boosted up, do you really want a 1v1 Nex? The guy's going to rip your head off every time.
But the thing is, they did seem willing earlier on to try and fight that, right? They were willing to put 3 people in the middle. They were willing to go for boosts. It's only really, it seems, when they put Threat alone in there that things go weird, So maybe NIP needs to sort of review that part of the strategy and say, all right, let's play things differently.
Or just start going for, like, hard flashes into A main, trying to find off timings, basically, to try and get in there and get information. Try to catch Mousesports setting up. But Mousesports right now, if they keep getting control of mid, that's just not allowing NIP to go for many plays. I mean, they could still go for the flash into main and hope they pick somebody off. Or a push into B halls. There are options here for NIP, but it's a very, very difficult position for them right now. They have invested in some HEs for this round, so they're hoping to get a dunk, a la Hiko. We'll see if they can actually pull it off.
Get right playing with the scout. Had a little bit of extra money and wanted to see if he couldn't do something for his team. Crazier things have been known to happen, but the grenades have already been expended and they haven't really done any damage. So,
well, they're getting up to the max round bonus. I mean, that's 4 rounds in a row for Mousesports. So NIP, it's not that big a deal that Get Right actually spends money on the scout this round because they'll be getting maxed out in the next one and they'll have a full buy here NIP. But right now it's NIP just crossing their fingers and hoping that Mousesports are going to make the mistake of walking into this stack on the B site. Freiburg, he's the sacrificial lamb over on the A site.
If you look at how much time they have right now, I don't see why Mousesports would do this. They have to at least check middle. If Nico sees that there's nobody middle, why not use that information to see if anyone's A? I mean, they are sort of walking into it here. Get Right getting caught a little bit, but he does some body damage there coming out. Speedy going down low, and Forrest is going to get killed as well. Mousesports trading very effectively right now. Speedy getting us second kill another round, and Exist and Freiburg are going to be left. So it looks like Mousesports should be able to break it through here. Exist in a great position, though, dropping the bomb, but he can't get the second follow-up. That would have been a little bit interesting. And Freiburg already been revealed up on the high ground.
That's so unfortunate. Mousesports just clumping up, so there really wasn't much hope there for Exist to be able to capitalize on it. Mousesports not realizing that there was the extra man there on the side as well, so a bit of a glaring mistake made by Mousesports, but just superiority and firepower, managing to trade up effectively, all these fundamental things coming into play for Mousesports, and they just managed to close out the round. So that was it. They're in the lead now. 13-12 is the score, and NIP, they do go for the full buy, and again, they prioritize the rifles. Forrest, he had the money for an op, but no, he's going back to the M4. Not, I mean, they are a little light on the incendiaries, but still, good flash count, lots of smokes, lots of HEs. So NIP, they should have everything they need here in this round. And now, they choose to rectify things in mid. They push in 3, or push 2 close to mid, but then the second, I mean, they have the third man waiting back in link. So this is how NIP are trying to solve the situation here.
Well,
the only problem is that Mousesports, they're ready for it. This time they're like, actually, NIP, we aren't even going to bother with mid. We're going to set up for an A play here eventually, and if you go for a flash into A main, Get Right, you're going to have a headache for a very short period of time.
See, they're being very, very defensive right now, Mouse Sports, which is a bit interesting because they're obviously the ones attacking, but you could tell that they've been scared by NIP so far. Get right in a good position. He sees just the shoulder, and he's going to get the one kill, but he can't kill next. It is a good trade, and now Nico coming out, and he's not going to fall for anything there. Exist trying to shoulder peek that angle, but it's not going to be working out. Nico looking for even more here. It's definitely going to be a bomb plant here for Mouse Sports, but the question is, can they also defend it afterwards, and how are they going to be planting? I really don't want them to go for a default here. They need to plant out in the open, but Chris, he's got the bomb with the AWP right now, and he's actually looking for a kill before they even think about going for the plant. That's going to buy a lot of time for NIP. Freiburg sneaking up close. It is going to be the default plant. Freiburg going down, and that should be it. Now, NIP have a tough choice to make. If they want to fight, then they could lose this and ultimately almost lose the round here in the half of the game. Instead, it's going to be Thread alone in a 1-on-4. I was wondering if they're going to try and save these rifles. But saving one is not enough for NIP right now. Mouse Sports, very, very close to putting us on overpass.
Yeah, no, this is pretty much in the bag now for Mouse Sports. It's all about going through their motions because NIP are going to be in a force buy in the next round, and from there on out, it should be easy peasy, lemon squeezy for Mouse Sports. He should get the job done. Threat, he is able to trade effectively. I mean, he gets 2 kills on the exit, but Mouse Sports, you know, money is not a problem for them right now, and so.
And if you look at it,
they're all floating around 10K. So it's like these kills, they're meaningless. It's all about just stopping them short, and Exist is the one that made the difference there. Get Right. He could have had the 2 kills, and I feel like there was a time when we would have seen Get Right guaranteed get those 2 kills because he was pretty much the best sprayer in the world. But this kill right here, picking off Exist with Exist not having any impact whatsoever,
yeah,
that's huge for Mouse Sports. That made all the difference.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, it also allows them to get out. You know, they know as soon as they kill Get Right and Exist, there's probably not going to be a 3rd man on the site there, so you're almost home free. NIP going for a buy in this round here. They feel like they had just enough money to make that work. This is obviously a very scary situation for the Swedish team, as Overpass could, I think, be a scary map for them against a team like Mouse Sports. But we're gonna see if it even goes that far. It's definitely not done yet. And what I was sort of hoping, and I think what has happened a little bit here, is that Nico has actually finally got help from the rest of his team. Look at how their scores turning out here. We've got 16, 17, 18, 19 on the rest of Mouse Sports, and it's 26 on Nico. So yes, he's top fragging still, he's carrying this team, but finally the rest has shown up, and I think that's what Mouse Sports finally needed.
And now NIP are finally deciding to change things up here. Freiburg and Vents, he's their eyes on mid. They're like, okay, guys, just change it by setting everybody up here on the A site. They do go for a peek into A main just to get some info, but they're playing this so passively, Mouse Sports. They're really not giving much of a chance here for NIP. And I love to see how Mouse Sports are also focusing a lot of their play around Chris J, giving him space to work with that AWP, giving him time to work with it. And now it's just him leading the charge, looking for that first pick that's going to open things up here on this A site. 3 members here for NIP, but the rotation is so far away. They can't just call the cavalry in here easily.
Big stack on A right now, but these Molotovs are making life really hard for NIP. They can't even stand anywhere, and that's going to be a great angle there. Dennis also getting a kill in threat, but the double actually gives it back, and now it is going to be a 2-on-2 here. 15 seconds left as they try and put down this bomb, and this time no one is there for NIP to stop it. Get Right, it's already deadish, threat and forest. They're going to have to try and see if they can bring it back here. Next, playing at the forklift, and you can hear them running in. He spots out one straight headshot. Forest going to go down. It's all on threat. He's going to have to get the quad kill here, and he can't do it. Chris shutting him down, and that's going to make it map point here. Mouse Sports at 15-12, and they are finally making this work for themselves.
All the difference in the world. Threat did the best that he could with the 2 kills. But again, Mouse Sports right now, it's just like all of this confidence. They're allowed to just set up and fully execute their strat without any pressure being put on by NIP. NIP, they're just hoping that having that extra man set on the site would make the difference for them, but they just weren't getting the kills until Threat stepped in, and by then it was too late. So just, you know, nothing working for a NIP right now. I mean, NIP.
Well, look at when all those Molotovs are down, how there are almost no positions left on the A-bomb side they can stand in. So Mouse Sports just to run in and check those positions. You see how they just sort of, they just turned the corner and were shooting almost as they turned because they know that's the only place you could really be. There aren't that many spots left for you to stand in. So now double push into main for NIP, and obviously they've got to try something. But the thing is, Mouse Sports, they already see it coming. They got Nico, they got Chris, they got everywhere. They've got someone set up, ready for this kind of push.
Yeah, they're ready for it, exactly. If NIP try to go for some kind of desperation play, Mouse Sports, they've got the crossfire waiting right outside of A main, Chris J as well, and Garage. So if they try to get, in NIP, they could be tempted. They could start feeling like, okay, you know, we're going to have to force things here. This is that game of chicken where it's, you know, who's going to blink first, who's going to hit the brakes. certainly isn't going to be Mouse Sports, because right now they have all of the advantage. They have all the edge. 55 seconds left in this half now. Well, in this game.
Could be in this half as well.
Mouse Sports have pretty much got this on lock. And now Chris J, he's going to walk right into Get Right, and an easy kill for him. And there's just no backing it. I mean, they do have Threat in position to try and back up Get Right, and he might be able to get the drop on one. Yes, he does take out Nico. That's a big kill, and he takes out two as well. Threat, way more than I was expecting from him. He actually manages to bring it back to a 3-on-3, but there's nobody left on this A site. 25 seconds left, and now Mouse Sports begin to push.
Yeah, you can see this. They sort of made the call, but they're also a little bit weary. They don't want to run into a third man who might have been lurking around, so they didn't just want to charge it. They are getting onto the site here. Some damage being dished out by Freiburg, but the bomb will be going down again. The default plant, which I'm really not a big fan of it, especially when they have the smoke down. You know, this kind of plant could render Speedy useless when it comes to saving the bomb. So we'll see how it's going to be playing out here. Exist, Forrest, and Freiburg making their way onto the site. Exist looking for that forklift. Speedy gonna get the kill on Exist. That's a strong start. Dennis picking up one, and now Freiburg alone in a 1-on-3, and there it is. Mouse Sports push us onto a third map on Overpass with a 16-12 scoreline. What a comeback here from the team at the end of it. Nico at 27 kills. He does it again and again.
And again. And next, Dennis, 21. I mean, everybody, this is just, you know, the completely different situation from what we saw in Cobblestone, where it was a bit top-heavy for Mouse Sports, and it was Nip, you know, who were basically, everybody was delivering, everybody was hitting their shots. I mean, Nip, it was kind of similar. They just weren't up at the same level as Mouse, and Mouse, they did everything right. They just focused on the weak spot for Nip, forced Nip to react to that, and then capitalized off of it with some very patient play. I have to say, no rushes from Mouse Sports. They were confident and in control the entire way through on their T side. They never felt like they had to go for some kind of Hail Mary. They just kept going through their game plan like, okay, this is it. This is how we break them down.
So now it goes to Overpass, and obviously we are gonna listen in with the panelists and all that stuff. But
exactly, this is where
what do you think, Samla? Because I said it. I thought Mouse Sports could win this best 3.
And I don't think it's that crazy actually now, because this is where the pressure is really going to start setting in on Nip. They're going to realize that they've got this uphill struggle. You know, Cobblestone, everything went so well. They were never really tested, put into that grind mode where it's just like you actually have to be able to fall back on what you know, what's been drilled into you in prac, and it's different. It's different from what they're used to because they don't have Pyth here.
Now, after Cobblestone, I actually caught up with Threat just quick, you know, asking him about that smoke ground and all those things, and I've got a lot of more questions for him when we have time for it at some point. But I mean, he did say I was really hoping people would pick Cobblestone, but Overpass is a map that you can even more tactics.
You were hoping?
No, Threat was hoping that people would.
Okay.
But now you've got Overpass, right? And that even more stats can be thrown out. So I'm also excited to see if Threat has got time to look at Overpass. But we are going to send it over to the analyst desk. It's going to be Scoot taking it away, so please break it down for us.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And again, no barbecuing. They're not going to do a UGP, lose 2 in barbecue. Mouse Sports kind of does what you guys thought they might do. If they shut down Threat in the middle, take advantage of that, they had a much better chance. And obviously they did quite a bit of that, but it just seemed like they got some of their momentum going, and Nip just really didn't on that second half, especially.
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of a classic performance that we kind of expected, in the sense that, you know, they were able to get their entries going, and it was on the T side, really. Mouse Sports did the damage. You know, the NIP setup wasn't conducive to kind of holding the sites, and once the economy started rolling, and you could see there were some deficiencies on that side, and the CT setup just wasn't as solid. I thought they did enough in the T half NIP to have maybe been able to close out this game, but it just didn't really work like that. And you know, while I'd say you've got to give credit to Mouse Sports, it was a very typical Mouse Sports performance. That Nico was winning vital rounds for them. A couple of other players showed up, but you know, it still wasn't amazing by any stretch of imagination. I think this was about NIP CT deficiencies more than Mouse Sports terrorist strengths.
Yeah, very, very tough for them to rotate into the right spots. Threat had a tough time. They really exploited him, like you said. The big thing was, this was actually surprising from a Mouse Sports team that just got crushed on Cobble, and just also as throughout this event just seemed very brittle. You know, very, very prone to collapses and everything like that. That Nip was the ones who opened up both of these halves relatively strong, and Mouse Sports was the one who came back into them, who really caught up and took the advantage in this matchup. So that was cool to see. But yeah, I mean, it was Nico won some very crucial battles from Door and that lurk over towards Forklift. 2 or 3 rounds, I think they were very important battles to how that round would end, and he wins both of those, and they go in his favor, and Mouse Sports' favor in the end. But it was Nex and Dennis both had 20 kills behind that as well. So I mean, some good stuff from Mouse Sports, some life in that second map.
much better fragging from Mousesports overall. That's one of the things is they'd been very, very weak on Cobblestone. You saw it was basically even Nico couldn't go crazy in that particular map. It was very lackluster. That's the reason why I was concerned coming into Cash. But NIP overall, you can see on all the maps they've played so far in the tournament, their CT side's been what's let them down every time because they're just having this difficulty. And the funny thing is, Get Right actually looks like he's in pretty good form at the moment. I mean, he's looking good. He's doing all the classic Get Right moves that you expect, but otherwise, it's not really there that much. And so Exist was the guy who struggled in this game. Threat again is always going to be something of a liability, even though he at least knows how to cover his spots. I'll give him credit in that sense. But they're not going to be a strong CT team. Now, that's still enough potentially to beat Mousesports. They can still get through the series, but we can see how weakened they are. Because you're seeing the strength of it's like that old adage, like the chain's only as strong as the weakest link. It doesn't matter if you've got these strengths elsewhere. If you've got this key weakness in this particular area, the whole game is going to hinge on that particular area of the game. So I feel like that's the big problem. And like it was Cash that I thought Mousesports could win, but now I feel like even unless Mousesports really convincingly wins on Overpass, I feel like now seeing what happened on Cash, we're going to look back and we're just going to spend the rest of time that we think about this particular series going, what was Mousesports thinking with that Cobble pick? Because that could have been Dust 2. Yeah. It was available. They could have picked Dust 2 and had Dust 2 and Cash their first two maps. That could have been a 2-0. I mean, obviously, we have to know how it would play out. Maybe Nip could have had very good individual performances, more of a PUG style map, but I think Mousesports have kicked themselves here. Like they should have been in with a chance to at least have the opportunity to win the series already, whereas they're now having to hope they can win on Overpass.
Yeah, and again, they both won their opponent's picks, which kind of evens it up. Okay, well, we got one more map. It's Overpass, and the way the actual setup works, just a reminder, that map was randomized, and then what happens is they randomize which team gets to choose the side, which we don't know quite yet, but we'll know when we get back from the break. So we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to start talking about Overpass. And again, now we're in this do or die for either team. Loser's going to go home and have to, or stay here in Columbus and watch, and the winner will move into the nationwide arena. So when we come back, we'll talk about Overpass, and we'll get the match going. Welcome back, folks. We are at the end of our first match of the day. It is our last map, map 3, between Ninjas in Pajamas and Mouse Sports. The map is going to be Overpass, gentlemen, and found out during the break that Nip did win the randomizer of who got to pick a side, and they have picked CT. So CT, Overpass. Starting with you, Duncan. What do you think? Nip, Mouse Sports.
I think this is going to be a very CT-sided game. I don't think either of these teams is good on Overpass. Nip's barely played it this year. Obviously, with the other lineup, they have a different map pool, as you've seen. Like, they banned out Mirage as one of their better maps with the pit lineup. I think overall, the problem is, because both teams aren't very good on this map, I'm personally leaning still towards NIP, because I think of it like this. To me, NIP, despite Threat being there, this is kind of an indictment of Mouse Sports, I think. Despite Threat being there, I still think in terms of average skill across both teams, NIP's better. So I think in terms of the fragging power, they're better. I think it's going to be a messy game of people just playing CT side and just T's not being able to execute well, and so it's just going to be CT people fragging, basically. And so, considering it took almost everything from all the Mouse Sports players to get the win on Cash there, I don't expect that to happen again. I don't think Dennis is going to have a big fragging performance again. Dennis and Spiddy, for me, are real liabilities on the Mouse Sports team. So I think standard, as usual, good performance from Nico. A bunch of the others go missing. Chris J probably doesn't have a huge impact, and Nip has enough quality in the team that they get the win. Probably a sloppy one, like 16-11, 16-12 type win, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, because it's hard to imagine Mouse Sports playing as poorly on Overpass as they did on Cobble. It's hard to imagine that even being possible. But also on the Nip side, with Threat as that tactician and Overpass being one of the more tactical maps at the moment, their T side probably has a little bit more punch to it. But also, I mean, they have Get Right and Forrest, two of the players who not only have experience in big games, but always tend to show up in these big games. They're the ones who you can count on to kind of have that performance that you need.
And you?
Yeah, just, I think that Mouse Sports played, I think it was Flipside recently, and lost on Overpass like 16-12. And obviously Flipside do play that map a lot. But still, the caliber of players they have on NIP, I don't think it bodes well for Mouse Sports. Kind of agree with Duncan. I think this will be a bit of a sloppy one, but I think NIP's quality will get them the win over Mouse Sports 2-1.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. We're about to rack into map 3, and again, it is now do or die time for either of these teams. Again, are we going to see Nip not make it to an arena, or is it going to be Mouse Sports? And again, once again, the gentlemen that are going to walk you through it, the room on fire gentlemen, Anders and Semler, take it away.
Gentlemen, he's obviously never been to an after party with us, but thank you anyway. Semler, are you ready for this one? It's going to be on Overpass between NIP and Mouse Sports. It's a third map to decide who gets to go to the nationwide arena and play against in front of a huge audience, or they get to go out. And I mean, for NIP, that would mean losing their legend status. There's so much on the line right now.
No, we're talking about a team that has made it to the playoffs every major so far and made it to the finals for most of them as well. So to go out here in the groups, it's almost like an envy sort of situation where, you can't accept that. They need to make it through. Mouse Sports, I mean, Cologne was the big one that I think where it's just like it probably was just this massive spike in their hearts that they didn't make it through the groups, that they weren't able to play on the stage in front of the greatest crowd we've ever had pretty much in CS.
I still haven't gotten over that.
Now they have a chance. Yeah, I know, right? Because God be. But like now they have a chance. Now they have a chance to actually do it here. They have the momentum going their way coming out of that last match.
Now the analysts all said that they're going to stick with their original picks of NIP made it through. I'm going to have to stick with mine, obviously. Can't change now. We are getting ready, and it will be Mouse Sports starting on the terrorist side, which is definitely the more difficult side here. They've gone for all Glock armor, and they seem to be running out A-long. So if they can make it all the way around and get close to NIP, this is really working out for them, right? They're not running into a USPS out here. If they did on long range, that could really be a problem, but they're actually making the full trek here, and the closer they get to the A-bomb side, that closes the distance for NIP to use that USPS effectively, and it gets within range of Mouse Sports being able to unleash that Glock hell, the Glock train that could just come through, where even if you have the USP and you get one headshot, you could be running out of bullets. You could simply just be out of bullets before the Glocks are.
Well, Nip are wise to this, man. They've pushed all the way through. Get Right is nearly into T-spawn now on the B side of the map. Threat and Forrest instantly rotate up to the A site and exist in Freiburg. They're already waiting for the loop through Connector because Mouse Sports have control of mid. And yes, it is going to come down to the duel between Nex and Get Right. And they've spotted now. Mouse Sports know that the game is up and that they're going to have to start pressing onto this A site. But Forrest is there to completely shut down Chris J. And now, well, what do Mouse Sports do? They've got 50 seconds left to make the play.
Yeah, they've got a lot of time, so I don't understand why they would try and panic too much here, but now they're running into the meat grinder. Freiburg getting 2 kills, Nico with 2 in return, and about 30 seconds here. They're going to try and see if they can make it out of this 2v3 here. It's not impossible, but Get Right with that shot almost secure. So the bomb is down now, and Nex is all alone, 1-on-3. And NIP definitely doing a good job here, but this round could have definitely gone either way. That was a lot of opportunity, I think, from Mouse Sports. Not any longer. Get Right going to shut it down in a brilliant opening here for NIP. But you've got to appreciate how mad it is that Nexus even watching for Get Right there. Like, that shows you that they've been watching a lot of NIP demos.
Yeah, it's just, man, NIP, they played it perfectly off of the information that they got because they know at that point, they pushed out Forest onto long, see nobody there. So they realize the only place that Mouse Sports can be is in mid. And mid, you can obviously wrap through Link, wrap through Connector over to the B site, but NIP, they put a crossfire there, and it worked. Freiburg got both kills. That's exactly what had to happen there for NIP. And so now for Mouse Sports, they're a bit in the dark. They have to go for the force buy, seeing as how they didn't get the bomb plant. And there's just a little bit of a party nade. Doing a bit of damage there. Nico and Nex getting tagged up.
And Get showing us that he's learned how to throw that smoke towards the monster tunnel as well, all the way from CT spawn. So that's a bit interesting. See how Mouse Sports are able to deal with that, or if they're just going to give up on the B rushes altogether because of that smoke, because it's been really, really effective in competitive play so far. It should be an easy round for NIP, and so far it's looking quite good. Just a bit of a cleanup here. Threat getting the one. Dennis will actually shut him down. That's a bit annoying. But at least he had an SMG to get the kill with.
Fantastic work from Threat, actually. He gets the refrag on Exist dying, and then he manages to get the couple of flashes out that completely slow down Mouse Sports, that don't allow Mouse Sports to swarm him on the B site, and he even gets one kill on top. That's a big round for Threat, and that's going to give him a lot of confidence here, which is what he needs after that cash, well, I mean, destruction, basically, because he just got rolled by Mouse Sports repeatedly round after round. So if Threat is showing, hey, I can hit some shots, Mouse Sports, don't take me too lightly here, that might throw a wrench in things for Mouse Sports, who are definitely going to be looking to figure out where Threat is playing on the map and looking to take advantage of that.
Third round coming up, and not much of a chance here. We again see that smoke that's coming out there, and it's just sort of a precaution to try and make sure that people, if they try and rush through here, you're not going to know what's waiting on the other side. The one that they're throwing even actually goes quite far into the tunnel, whereas the previous version, the one that Carrigan did in the beginning, it lands a little bit further up, right? So that one's actually even more annoying than the original one because it really goes far back into the tunnel.
Oh, and there we go. Nice timing from Mouse Sports. This is going to get a bit dicey for Exist. He gets insta headshot. Get Right is there to restore order, however, with the backstab flank. Actually, not even. He's up on Sniper. Instead, it's Threat who's holding close on CT. The backstab was Forrest, and he gets caught by Nico. But still, they've actually managed to stop things cold here. Mouse Sports in a 3-on-3. They've got a rifle picked up on Nico, but can they actually get anything done here? Can they actually hold off this push? Nico takes out Freiburg, but Threat and Get Right are closing in on the site, and now it all comes down to Get Right just holding the line, making sure that Nico can't come in here for the backstab. Oh no, and Threat has no idea that Nico went to Monster. He's actually just now going to realize it. He runs right into Nico, and he wins the fight. Big recovery there by NIP. That got dicey for a second.
Yeah, you could tell that Nico was thinking it was going to be a fake defuse at first there. He wasn't aware, because otherwise he would have peeked out, I think, and tried to get the kill either way a little bit earlier. Interesting round anyway. I mean, a really, really expensive one for NIP. I sort of giggled at Nico closing the door on the guy coming through connector, but 3 rounds in favor of NIP. It's a really good start for them, in spite of losing some economic edge early on here. Now it's Chris with the AWP and Forrest on the other team at 1, so we'll see if they can win the AWP battle here, Mouse Sports. That definitely help out a lot.
Oh yeah, it'd be huge. And Chris, I mean, you can count on him throughout these rounds. He's been managing his economy to make sure that he can get a good buy here, that he can get his AWP plus the Kevlar. And so it's all on him now in this round to create openings. And as we saw on Cash, Mouse Sports, they have been playing a bit around him, allowing him to have time to work the map to try and find that pick. And when the push comes onto the site, he's a part of it. He's scoped in, much like Navi and Guardian, same kind of style. Play around Guardian, try and get him to open things up for you.
Look at how mad this is as well. Mouse Sports, I mean, this is an unusual level of defensiveness coming out of the terrorist side. They must have been watching all of them. I think they have an idea that NIP are going to be aggressive, at a certain point in time, which is obviously not the case right now, but they are playing like a team that has some sort of idea in their mind already about what the opponent might be doing. Not a lot of long control for NIP, except for Freiburg, who's playing the restrooms here with Get Right, but that position can be smoked off, and it does leave a bit of an opening here. A nice pop flash through, and Freiburg can't see a thing, and Get Right's going to go down Speedy with a terrific opening. Dennis shutting down Forrest. I guess that's one way to play around. Get 3 entry frags with no reply.
And nicely done there by Threat. I mean, he managed to pick up a kill onto Nico. But yeah, that timing, that patience from Mouse Sports really paying off. They're waiting for that minute mark when Nip, are they're going to try and go for a push somewhere to get info, try and take a risk somewhere to figure out where Mousesports are coming from, and then once they get to the point where it's like, okay, Nip aren't coming to us, it's time to go to them, boom, pop flash on a Freiburg, and that one kill kind of just throws everything out of whack for NIP because they hadn't seen anybody up to that point, so it's all about reacting to that change, and Mousesports, they just took full advantage, so very nicely done by Mousesports. They win the key round, the first buy round goes their way, and now it's up to NIP to try and, well, establish some control here. Only problem is that these rounds at the beginning have been so close, they've been dropping members, NIP, so their money isn't really solid. They have if they can save the 2 rifles, they can get a buy, but it's still not going to be a really solid one because somebody's going to have to force up. Get Right could go for a full buy himself. Threat and Exist could drop. Well, they could drop 1. I mean, Threat only has 1750 in the bank right now. It's Exist who actually has enough money to drop an M4 for somebody, but this is not going to be pretty if NIP commit to it.
I'm hearing Mousesports shouting now.
Oh yeah, man, Chris J, he gets into it.
That's what I want. I think that's what they need right now. This is a very good adjustment here. That's Get Right's opportunity to sort of get the instant refrag there. So 3-1 scoreline, UNP being picked up by Threat, and because of the rifles saved, and you're right, that's what made the difference. They are able to put together a buy in this round anyway. Mousesports just need to continue on here.
Go for the op on Forest. That's a huge buy. I was expecting another rifle to come out for sure, but instead, they just want to make sure that Forest, he has an answer to Chris J, it seems. Well, for now, as far as the setup is concerned for Mousesports, they have no idea. Did Nip try and go for the hard eco? Did they try and go for something cheeky? Is it a force? Mousesports, they're so far back on the map just to get info, just to wait and see what did Nip actually go for in this round. They do not want to get caught out by anything. Look at how passively Nico's playing it as well, just shoulder peeking into sewers, not even fully committing to it.
Yeah, they are being very, very cautious at the moment. I mean, Overpass is such a it is really a wide map. There are a lot of angles to cover. So, since they also knew that Get Right pushed up in the pistol round, they could just be a little bit weary that that something's going to be up. Threat actually with the UMP of all weapons defeating Nico, and that's some range there. You think the AK might have the advantage, but headshot going to take care of business now. They're making their way toward the restrooms here. Freiburg going to get smoked off, so they can't easily sort of come out up behind them unless are they going to push with the smoke here? I think Get Right's actually walking through. He's going to have a really good angle, but Dennis turns around and takes him out. Forest didn't quite see the shoulder just yet. Freiburg from behind as well. Next going to take care of him. Exist going to get the 1 kill in. Exist goes down. Threat to follow it up, and he ups as well. And now it's a 2v1, and Forest, they must be able to guess, since they killed 3 people in Connector, they should guess that there's not going to be a 4th guy coming from there, but Forest is in an absolutely lethal position here. Oh, what a smoke.
This is heartbreaking for Forrest. He has to step out there. He really has to take the risk. And he's going to get tagged down to 22. He doesn't even make it out alive. Speedy is there to catch him out in the smoke. And Forrest, he made the correct call. He got the read right. But Mousesports, that single smoke completely ruined it. If they didn't have that smoke, Forrest, he's going to pick them off as they try and make their way off a short onto that site. They just didn't have time to maneuver Mousesports. But a single nade just makes all the difference for the offense. And Mousesports, they've got 2 rounds on the board now.
So here's how this breaks down for Mousesports. If they don't have the smoke, there's a really good chance that Forrest will pick one as they run in. The other guy he'll be able to run onto the side to get the bomb down, but then he's stuck behind the box. He can't really make it out, and that's a horrible position to be in. So, yeah. Interesting stuff there. Mousesports winning a 2 in a row and forcing NIP to eco is definitely an incredibly strong start here.
Nip, I mean, obviously on an eco round for themselves. That's the painful thing here for NIP. They're getting flashbacks to Cash, I think, right now, where their CT side wasn't super solid, wasn't very strong. And they're getting more of that. They would have much rather, I think they would have much rather, gone for T-side start here on Overpass. Forget that CT side ever happened. Try and get a strong T-side in, and then, worry about the CT later. But NIP, they really have their work cut out for them in this first half because Mousesports, they're starting to really get that confidence going. And they're content. I mean, Mousesports really just waiting. They're so content to just sit back and wait and run down this clock. Make sure that Nip are just sweating the entire time. Flash, we do have a flash kind of play that could be set up here for long, though. Threat waiting on the A side. He's got the single flash. And Freiburg, Get Right, Forrest, they're all waiting around long. This could be perfect. Once that flash goes out, there it is. Surprise, surprise. Get Right picks up the first. But they're so far back, Mousesports, that they only pick up the single kill.
I still love this. I mean, this is still a very, very good idea for NIP. I think this is well worth them. We should credit them a bit for trying it. This is something that we've seen Luminosity do this and another type of play that's very similar, especially particularly on Overpass, where they stack everyone like this and they pop one flashbang and that's it. So it's a very, very smart play Huge fan of it anyway. Shame they couldn't get more out of it because that is a very good idea.
Yeah, Mousesports just strung out. Just, I mean, isn't like strung out so far,
yeah,
one between the other. They weren't clumped up where you could just spray them all down with pistols and everybody's going to be flashed. So that was really nicely done by Mousesports. They're showing, I mean, they're showing a very solid level of CS right now going up against NiP. More than what we were expecting, and more than what the analysts were expecting, that's for sure. So 3-3 right now. NiP, now they have to go for the force, and I mean, it's a rifle buy. They have a decent number of nades, but they definitely don't have any incendiaries or kits. Curious to see why they're investing in helmets as well. That could make the difference. Force could have an HE. I mean, they could have a couple more nades to work with on that CT side. Always a bit questionable when you go for the helmet. That extra $350 that you have to spend could make the difference later on.
Nico setting up for a grenade, wondering exactly where that's going to end up. Just a pop flash over. All right, was wondering it was going to be something more creative, but does allow them to get into the sewer area. They also got Connector taken care of. NIP showing that they're really ready and willing to fight for restrooms control, which is such a central part of this map. If you lose restrooms as a CT, that means you have almost no map awareness. You don't know what's happening on the map, really. You're going to be in A bomb site, you're going to be inside the B bomb site, and you won't. The terrorists can sort of set up executes. And actually, a lot of these rounds have been decided way before that. Like, Mousesports haven't been doing executes, they've just been winning duels in these 3 rounds, right? So you got to wonder what. I would like to see actually what happens if Mousesports are allowed to execute onto a site properly.
Did Threat miss that smoke? That went way deep. Chris, all the way back in T-spawn, can still snipe him if he comes through.
Yeah.
They're going to be applying pressure in mid. This is similar to the round that we saw before where Nico, Dennis, they're both able to pick up kills on the defenders towards restrooms. This forces the rotation off of B, and this sets it up perfectly for Mousesports to now commit to this site. If they kill off Exist on short, it's all over for NIP. But he goes for the peek, and he starts backing off. They hear the steps, and this is pretty much going to clinch it here for Mousesports. They know now's the time to go.
Wait, the thing is, NIP don't have any grenades to try and stop this. Exist is going to have to come up with some kind of godlike play here. Threat has also shown up for the party, and he's going to go down. Nico is ready to do this. He's only got 6 health left, and that's going to be it. They clean out the round. They're going to force NIP back on ecoing. It's 4-3. They've overtaken NIP here. Mousesports are off to an absolutely godlike start, and I've got to say, I think NIP only have 2 choices right now, because now they've proven, 4 rounds in a row they've proven, they can't take mid-map fights with Mousesports. Mousesports win them all the time, right? So either you stay defensively on A or B, which I'm not a big fan of, or you try and take the fight way earlier up. You try and take the fight on Mousesports' side of the map. You push up all the way into playground, or you push up all the way, you know, I guess through monster. That'd be mad.
That's like exactly the nightmare right now for NiP, because what they're realizing as well is that, well, Mousesports are playing super passively. They're waiting for us. They're not showing themselves anywhere across the map at the beginning. So if we go for the rush, we might just be running into the blender. So it's this impossible situation for NIP. One change that they have made so far is that they put Freiberg down into connector early on here. So now, I mean, he's pushed all the way up, and he's not going to allow Mousesports to get in here very early on in the round. So that's important. It means that NiP at least have this to go off of, because the last couple of rounds, as far as like the mid play is concerned, it's like they keep getting wrecked from from connector rather.
What I would really do is I would try and use this round almost like sort of as a tactical timeout and just talk a little bit, you know, because obviously this round it's great if they can somehow pull out a win, and with the Eagles you really never know, but still. You've got to assume that the upcoming round is going to be the one where they really have to pull out some sort of like tactical, you know, brilliance. And we do have Threat on there. There are ways of denying Mousesports to even get too far out on where they are right now, where Chris and Speedy are on that side of the map. You can put in really good grenades to stop it with. So I think they have to put the pressure on that side of the map. Hold 2 on B, push 3 all the way up, and take the fight at Fountain. That's my call. That's my
It's
idea.
like you do that with aggressive force kind of opping play, right? That'll have to be, we'll have to see the question here as they manage to sneak their way through Monster Mousesports, and it's shaping up to be a very nice anti-ego round from them. Forrest trying to do the best that he can. He actually takes out Nico, but it's just Get Right left all by his lonesome over in connector. Not really going to be able to achieve too much over here. Maybe he can catch Speedy, who's out on his own with that AK, but Speedy's playing this very carefully, and he knows that he's far enough away from that bomb. He doesn't need to run all the way back into T-spawn where Get Right's lurking. So Get Right, I mean, I guess the one way you can actually take the fight to Mousesports is by not dying, by not allowing them to get that $300 or $100 if you run into Chris.
Small margins, man. It's I mean, look at the money here on the Mousesports team as well.
Yeah, 10,000 out of control.
Chris has only died 3 times, so Speedy, and that's the three first rounds there. So I mean, NIP aren't really even getting many kills. This is a very, very poor start.
And especially for a team that have been struggling with their CT sides, as we saw in Cash. This is not uplifting here. There's just a monstrous amount of pressure on building on these guys right now. The shoulders.
5-3, moving into the 9th round. And again, do you want to remind you, mousesports are playing on the terrorist side here. The one thing that really, I sort of wanted to mention this at the end of the first one a little bit, or I think maybe we did, but, you know, overpass the map that allows for really, really huge tactical depth. If Threat is ready for the terrorist side, if he's got similar sort of plans and similar depth as he did on Cobblestone, things get very interesting. So I don't want to count Nip out yet, but this is definitely not the kind of start that they were hoping for. They have another buy coming in here, and they're playing very defensively. This time, Restrooms has been given up already. They got 3 people stacked on B, so there is a change, and even that is good. You can tell that they already know that what they were doing wasn't working.
Some info. I mean, mousesports have changed up as well, how they've approached things. This time, they actually try to put 2 players into sewers very early on. And Nico's already got control of Connector as well. So mousesports, at this point, they've got to be feeling pretty good. There's a smoke that went down to block off, well, basically mid around Restrooms. About halfway up, and mousesports are now preparing to take control of that. I believe that was a flash from Spitty. Yes, flash out. Nico just goes jumping, doesn't find anybody. And so mousesports are just systematically taking control of this map, and now they just have all of the room. Chris is going to clear out long. Really have to appreciate how mousesports are being so, just being so thorough at this point. They're really making use of all of the time in the round, allowing them to just get control of this map and then set up what they want to go for, which does look like it's going to be an A play here, especially given Nex gets pushed down in sewer.
Yeah, nice peek coming out of Threat and Exist there. Now, mousesports are under a lot of pressure, and look at the time as well. NIP seems to have finally found something that actually works here. 30 seconds, Get Right, going to pick up a headshot as well on Nico. It's time for the Swedes to get back into this game. Dennis does get a good kill in, and almost a second kill coming through, but not quite. Freiburg picking up 2 of his own, and it's going to be a triple to shut them out of the round. 3 people surviving, and NIP is about time, but it does work out for them. That's going to make it 4-5. Still favoring mousesports, but that was a good round.
That was actually a solid round. Rather than go aggressive, Nip just chose to go super passive, actually. They're like, okay, mousesports, if you're wrecking us when we come to you, we're just going to sit back and wait for you guys to actually try and execute onto the site. And Freiburg, I mean, that's an individual play that's really coming to the fore. It shouldn't be possible for him to get 3 kills from that position, but he somehow achieves it, and that made all the difference for NIP. And wow, okay, mousesports, now they're just like, okay, well, now time to change up the pace. Straight aggression out onto the B site so early on here. This could completely catch Nip off guard. Threat, is he going to be in position at barrels fast enough? No, but Chris misses the shot. Bit of a missed opportunity there for mousesports, and now they actually have to press onto this site, but the smokes are going down, and there isn't a whole lot that Nip can do unless Threat decides to step in. And there's a crossfire, quick rotate coming in as well, and the nades rain in. Where's Freiburg coming from? 2 kills for him, and Exist picks up the op and gets 1 of his own.
Wow. Chris alone here, and he must be feeling just a little bit weird, because if he had got that first kill, that would have been it. Bomb site done with. Missing that shot just made all the difference in the world. Freiburg going to end up taking another triple kill for himself here and making it 8 on the scoreboard overall. So very good job, but missing that kill is that instantly broke it. If Threat goes down, then Exists by the sandbags hiding, and he's going to die. The best he could do is going to get the 1 trade in, and that's it. Then they're playing a 4 versus 3, and with the bomb down as well. This is just a really, really unfortunate turn of events.
It's just a sick play from Freiburg.
Yeah, but that only happens. That can only happen if Threat survives. Everything hinges on that 1 click.
And now they actually have the aggressive smoke going down top mid. So letting mousesports know, hey, we're getting aggressive again here, boys. Don't get too comfortable. This time around, it's mousesports moving out onto long, but Exist held onto the op. It's a double op setup here from NIP, and Exist starts it off by removing Nico, and it's only Nico as well. So if NIP read into this, they might be thinking, wait a second, we've killed Nico early. He tends to do this on overpass as well, where he'll play solo sewers, and then mousesports are up towards A site. And we already see Nip starting to try and play off of this right now. They're trying to get the info and connector just to make sure, just to confirm.
Next, playing in Restrooms here. They've got that control, but as we've been pointing out, NIP have realized that just giving them Restrooms control is a better choice than trying to fight them there. So they've got the man lead as well. They got to be careful pushing in, because when the Freiburg is this close on connector, if anything goes wrong and if they're looking the wrong way just for a second, then he will wreck the round for them. And Get Right's also sneaking up behind, so mousesports, they're getting the A bomb site, but they could end up being trapped in here. Oh, they both missed the shot, and that's dangerous. There's Chris taking out 1, and Exist going down. NIP, why are they giving up all this space here? They've got the flank coming through. If they were just buying time, that would have been all they needed. Freiburg going to go down. NIP, they're giving away too much in this round. And Threat's going to be alone in a 1-on-4. Tactically and on a communication level, this is a horrendous round for NIP.
You want to know what happened, Anders?
Someone had an aneurysm?
They heard the scope from Chris. They heard him scope up. Chick, chick.
Yeah,
and then
but
Forrest
why?
decides to take the fight, and he misses the shot. That's the key point.
Yeah, but why are the people in A bomb site, why are they the ones peeking? Why not wait until the Freiburg and Get Right coming up from behind are ready? And if you are going to peek, why not just count 1, 2, 3, and then everybody peeks at the same time?
Yeah, Forrest, I mean...
I think you're right. That might have very well been what triggered it.
2 kills for Forrest so far in this first half. We're 11 rounds in. Well, now getting into 12. 2 kills for Forrest. When it was him and Get Right going ham on Cobblestone to start things off. It all looked so groovy for NIP. That's exactly the kind of win condition that they need. They rely so heavily on Forrest and Get Right to come in and actually get the kills. And the fact that Forrest right now is not having any impact. Threat is top fragging for Nip. Threat is top fragging. How does this happen? That is not how this is supposed to play out at all. We need Get Right and we need Forrest to wake up here if Nip want to stand a chance, because Mousesports are now in the lead on T-side overpass. They have 6 rounds. They have a huge lead right now, Anders, and it's not looking any better here for the Swedes.
Oh, that Molotov's going to make life really tough for the Barrels player, and they're trying to get in here. Threat going to be going down. They will be making it back, and Exist is taking some damage, but Get Right with a fantastic double kill. Exist going to be going down. Get Right getting a third. He's angry. He wants to turn this ship around, and it's now a 2-1-3. They have the man lead. They should be able to do this. Speedy will pick up Get Right finally, but has he done enough to make his team win this round? Chris missing a shot that was almost point blank, and Forrest coming in finally with 3rd kill off this match for himself. And that is going to be 6-6. The scoreline is tied once again. And NIP, I mean, it also shows you the power of Get Right sort of turning up. That's very important.
Yeah, and a huge round. But this is all, I mean, Get Right, it couldn't have been better. Just full on spray against full flash targets. It doesn't get any better than that. And then obviously, yeah, the mad pressure that he just puts out from here. It's flawless. It works. Forrest gets a kill as well. And Chris J misses a key frag with the op. Should have had Freiburg for days there, but he misses the shot. This is all over the place right now. The pressure is starting to tell.
I mean, I think Dennis was banking everything on that round on just having put all his shields on the rear. Star Trek reference.
Heyo.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I'm wondering as well.
Don't question it.
Are we going to go there?
Just accept it.
Shields on the rear.
Well, next, going for a bit of a trade there. It's going to be Speedy to follow up on it. He had the right angle. You could tell he was crouching into it, but Threat has been doing a good job in this first half, and you've got to pray that now Forrest and Get Right. Well, Get Right's already in play, but that Forrest is really going to show. I think that's the big thing here. Get Right. Pellets somehow not connecting there. It's going to be Dennis to take him down, and Exist with a great double kill. Now they've got the lead once again.
Oh, and he just manages to make it into pit. So now the rotation can come through. Chris J not going to find a target. Speedy moving up. Close. Chris, he's focused on CT. This could give Exist an opportunity, but Freiburg team kills him, and then Chris J kills Freiburg. Oh no, Forrest. It's all on Forrest now. 1v2. Speedy's got low HP, and so does Chris, so this is still possible, but somehow it's completely turned against the Ninjas. The worst case scenario, it's here. Speedy gives away his position, and now it's all on Forrest. If he can find where Chris J is playing from, and he does. There's the headshot wallbang, and now he knows exactly where Speedy's playing from as well, on short. And so this is all on Forrest. He's got the incendiary and a kit and the flash. He's just going to try and buy the time, but he gets caught. Valuable seconds being wasted, but Speedy's so far away, and Forrest, Anders, pros don't fake.
Well, it didn't even matter. Speedy literally could do nothing. As soon as that Molotov lands, the round is over. Because Speedy can't even run for the fire. If he had 50 health, then Forrest probably dies, but it's over the second that Molotov gets put out.
Wow.
That's, that's quite cool, isn't it? And what a great way to win. Forrest with a 1v2. That's very impressive.
Exist as well, but man, Freiburg dunks an 8 on Exist. You're just thinking everything is going right for what?
Mutiny in the ranks.
That's got to be one of the MVP nades so far of the tournament.
Yeah, you're not wrong. 14th round is coming up here. We're nearing the end of the first half in the 3rd map here. Cobblestone going so heavily in favor of NIP, and on Cash it was a real struggle for both teams at one point or another. Mousesports just edging it out. And now this map, it's too soon to call yet. There's still too much of the map to be played here. Nico getting caught completely off guard after putting in a flashbang, which Dennis follows up with a kill, and that's pretty good. But you can tell Mousesports don't have a lot of money in this round.
Yeah, it's that quasi-buy coming out. I mean, the double rifle, it's a force. It's as clean as it gets. The full force coming out here now. And look at this position taken up by Forrest. He's hugging that smoke, hoping that somebody's going to get impatient and push through, or that he's going to be able to hear a footstep. You might have heard one there, because we do have Freiburg repositioning himself back into bank. And Forrest, he's on his own. He sees the shadow. He gets the first kill. That's so key. Next is going to get the backstab. Unfortunately, Forrest not having the support there necessary. Instead, it's Freiburg. Full flash. Manages to get it out, but now he's roasting.
That's a great Molotov. It lands on top of the box, but it spills down on the other side. It's going to make life a little bit tough for Freiburg, but the whole NIP team is here, but they're actually rotating back. Oh, Freiburg almost catching them. If he could have got that kill, that would have wrecked everything from Mousesports. The damage is still valuable. They're going to try and catch them one more time and get right hungry.
That's the bomb!
He's going to get it. Oh my god, they have time to pick it up, but now NIP have time to counter-rotate, and Threat is still on this bomb site here. That's a massive kill for Get Right.
All right, Threat, time to earn your keep. Flashes are going in, though. Second flash perfectly timed, catches him repicking, but Freiburg, he's not blind, and Threat will pick up the final kill of the round. They're turning it around, Nip.
Team Ace.
8-6, and you're right, Team Ace, everybody getting in on the action. 15th round now in Mousesports. It is going to be the full force buy again. This time, well, they can afford the single AK. Nicely done there by Dennis. He just had enough money for it.
I mean, imagine a world in which Freiburg does really good damage early on, but he also spots them. Imagine a world in which they are so defensive on the A-bomb side that they don't know that they're falling back with, 35 seconds or whatever. Then Threat's the only one on B against 3 people running in. So just overall, that was some good play from NIP. A little bit risky, but it was definitely a good play. Now, Mousesports have to play this final round with very limited economy and very limited equipment. So NIP, I mean, a huge struggle in this first half. But if he finishes 9-6, I'd say it's probably anybody's game. I mean, then we've got a very open match in our hands once again.
Absolutely. 8-7 is definitely cutting it a bit close for comfort for NIP, but
it's a bit scary.
They'll have got quite a few rounds on the CT side still. And then T side, that's when Threat comes into full force with the calls, with the strats. We'll have to see what NIP are capable of as Forrest. He actually catches Chris J just, strolling in there. Forrest with the double kill. And this is it, NIP. They have a massive advantage now as far as the firepower is concerned. Threat wins the duel straight up versus Dennis, and Exist is there to take out next. It's all on the Wonder Kid. It's all on Nico. And he's going to get the first, almost an afterthought there on Exist. Has to pick it up. But he's got a minute left on this clock, and he's in a 1v4. Threat and Forrest are low, but Get Right and Freiburg are going to rotate over, and they're even securing it with a backstab with Get Right. So there's just no way out for Nico. He has to go forward here.
He's crouching in to not be spotted. Good stuff. Well, 1v4, it is Nico, and there's a nice click to start off with, but there's so much more to come. He's going to shoot Threat, who's looking the wrong way as well. Goes for more, but he's going to get shot down by Freiburg. Just a moment of panic there, but it works out.
Look at Threat.
Yeah.
Look at like, how the hell did he get behind me?
But look at this. All right, so we've got a 9-6 scoreline. Now, you remember that one round where Forrest goes for the peek in the A-bomb site when they actually have sort of Mousesports sandwiched in? That should have been a nip round. And obviously, that alone would have turned this into sort of what a 10-5 finish instead. That in itself would have been even better. But then you look at the streak that Mousesports has here. They had, I think, 3 or 4 rounds that they won just by winning the duel at restrooms. And NIP took quite a long time. I mean, 5 out of the 6 rounds that Mousesports have right now were in one streak. One block where they got 5 rounds in a row. If NIP had made an adjustment to that restrooms defense much earlier, I actually think this could have been a really, really good half for NIP. They could have been like a crushing half, like 11-4 even.
Yeah, but for a one-sided affair.
For NIP. So I'm not trying to take it away from Mousesports, but NIP did give I think a bit too big of an opening to Mousesports here. They took too long to adjust, and that's a bit of a problem.
That's where the nerves start to come into it, man. There's so much riding on it with NIP, and then they've just been hit with the confidence. I mean, coming out of Cobblestone, yes, they're fired up, but then they got slammed on Cash. And so they're just trying to figure out, like, okay, well, our CT side got demolished on Cash. We have to start CT on Overpass. It took them a while to actually start getting in there. But then a few key big plays, I think Freiburg with the big plays, managing to bring it back-to-back triple kills. I think that's what really started it off for NIP, and sometimes that's what is necessary. You need to have somebody who steps up and does something incredible, does something that, is above, the call, right? Freiburg delivered, and I think a lot of it comes down to him turning it around. And Get Right probably wins an award for speed pissing there, because you have 2 minutes between halves, and that's why he was pointing at the clock. He's like, can you guys extend this a little bit, I guess? Because he just went hoofing over into the player lounge there and back, and he gets back with 10 seconds left, Anders. That must be a record.
He clutched it. Look, I mean, the second half, I'm very excited about this one because I really want to see what Threat can show us here. We're obviously super excited about their sort of tactical depth on Cobblestone.
Yes.
I mean, it could be that it's just as deep or even deeper. I think this map allows for more depth, but you never know, right? Maybe they haven't had time. Maybe this wasn't a map that they were really hoping to play. It's too soon to tell right now. Buy involves absolutely no grenades, so that's already a change from the first two maps, right? Not a particular sort of execute here. This is more about, and again, it's exactly what Mousesports did. This is more about getting into range and then taking these Glock fights, and already they're within range. Oh no, Mousesports, they're out in the open. They're getting caught here. The NIP slowing down just a little bit, but the Glocks, they have so many bullets in them. This is a good trade right now for NIP.
Spitty did a phenomenal job, though. 2 kills for him. Much more than he should have got in that situation.
Oh, look at Dennis. If they rotate back, then Dennis' position is going to be interesting.
He's in a prime spot right now, and it looks like NIP they are going to commit. And what's also scary is that Nico, he's on a full flank right now through long. So if they push onto this A site, Nico's going to be right behind them. There's next to confirm. That's the bomb as well. Rotation's going to start coming out here from Dennis. And now Nico, he can work his way into restrooms. He can get right behind him, or he's going to play on long. This is going to be nasty for NIP. They're about to get caught in a vice.
And next, being very smart and not re-peeking this 2v3. They should definitely bank on the retake here. Nico has the kit, so he's got to be careful that doesn't get lost in transition going into the bomb site again. But they do have them in a bit of a triangle, and I don't think Nip realized just yet. Freiburg's sort of a little bit panicky, looking behind him, but he's got so many angles to cover here on Optimus. He's looking for the first shot there on Dennis. Now they're making their way in. Mousesports are looking for it. Freiburg charging out. He's missing a shot. Dennis going to be going down. This is a big round. Mousesports now. It's a 1-on-3. Exist trying to see if he can survive. He just can't. And there's going to be the defuse here. Mousesports coming back from 2 of their players being caught in a really terrible position. And you are exactly right. Speedy, he is the man of this round.
He did a fantastic job at the beginning. And then, this is Mousesports not giving into nerves. They played it perfectly. And next, he backed off. He didn't re-peek.
Yeah.
He didn't try and take the duel. He just fell back to bank and waited for his teammates to rotate in. They had all the time. They had the kit on Nico. It couldn't have been played better by Mousesports. That was some top-notch CS right there.
Still Threat with 2 kills on the pistol. He's top fragging again. And we do have the massive UMP buy here. And NIP have not gone for any kind of a buy-up except for upgraded pistols, so we know they're going to be picking up AKs in the upcoming round.
Yeah, mad money right now. That's what they're after here, Mousesports, with the UMPs. And, well, we've seen how lethal Nico can be on cash with that UMP, so he can definitely bring the hurt. And there's the start. Chris J with the FAMAS long range is going to pick up 1. Speedy, spotting the movement. He's going to get that incendiary down, and now it gets a bit hot and bothered in here for NIP at this point. Threat and Exist, they kind of get stuck, and, well, what can they really hope to achieve here? Speedy is a little low, but Chris J is there to get his back.
Wow, Threat actually dodged that grenade by walking behind the wall. He would have been dead otherwise. Again, for any newcomers, grenades do way more damage if you don't have armor. That Kevlar vest is going to protect you from grenade damage quite a bit. So he really should be dead instantly, but the wall just saved him there. 9-8, and Mousesports a single round away from equalizing the score here. Now NIP obviously coming into it with the early buy here.
Oof. And it's not a pretty one, Anders. It's not a pretty one. They have 3, 4, 5 flashes, 2 smokes, and an HE.
Yeah.
This is all, I mean, really, this kind of plays away from what you want if you're an IP, to take just straight up duels with a fired up Nico or Nex.
The only thing is, Mousesports playing with 2 UMPs and no AWP on Chris, right? So at least they have the AKs early on here when maybe Mousesports, I mean, they obviously know what's coming, but it's going to be a little bit more tricky for them to take the fight anyway.
3 flashes used, though, already for NIP. And this is so key. Get right. He gets the kill. Spitty had the drop on him, and that was so big. Get right actually gets the man advantage now for NIP. This can only help.
And if he had had an M4, you have to wonder. Exist with a stunning headshot, taking out Nex. Freiburg trades the kill that happened there, and it'll be all on Nico and Dennis. I mean, this is very tough, isn't it? And they don't have a lot of money either, because obviously it's a bit early here. So I think they have to save at least 1 rifle to make the upcoming buy work, and actually preferably 2. Nico already out of it, and Dennis, he's low on money. So yeah, he's gonna. They need to save quick here.
Yeah, he needs to just haul. Well, get over to T-spawn, which is exactly what he's doing. And NIP, I mean, okay, thanks. Prove me wrong, right? A lot of those did actually come down to straight duels. Get right did get a bit lucky that he was able to readjust and pull a 180 in time to stay alive. But Exist.
That's where you gotta wonder, you know, what if he hadn't had the UMP there in the corner? Could he have killed Get Right?
Exactly.
either way, I'm still not particularly a fan of that position, just because of if there had been someone else on connector, you know, fine, they could cross it, but even if he kills Get Right with an M4 or the UMP, is he really gonna be sort of getting the next kill and surviving if there's a guy following up from Get Right? He's trapped
No,
in
it's
that
a
corner,
one and
right?
done kind of position. You're right.
And that's not worth it as a CT, is it? You know.
Dennis showing himself is also really scary to me. I mean, if he goes all the way back into T-spawn, he guarantees, you know, lives, right? There, he decided to take a risk, and it pays off in the end. I'm not going to speak ahead. Nope, never mind. What? The wallbang from Freiburg. And there you go, Dennis. You needed to save that rifle. It would have made a huge difference going into this round. Next, he was on 1,400 bucks. Now what can Next do? He gets P250 Kevlar. If you'd had an M4, boom, you drop him the M4, and you actually have a full buy.
It somehow seemed like the time at the end of that round just kept going forever and ever.
Right.
You know?
Stretches out. No, that's a real. That's going to come back to bite them perhaps here, because now it means that Dennis just not a lot of money to work with here. Goes for the M4, no nades. They're very light on nades at this point, Mouse Sports, and Nip, they're fully equipped. This is going to be brutal. Next, taking the point, and this is just that 1-2 combination kind of play over on long for Mouse Sports, where Next draws attention to himself, and Chris J is supposed to mop up, but it just completely gets blown apart by NIP, and Freiburg lurking catches Dennis trying to come in from sewers.
They also push the one position where Mouse Sports only have the one rifle, right? Where the other player has a pistol, so I don't know. Nico and Speedy right now, 2 versus 5 in NIP. They came out of the first half with maybe a little bit of confidence, sort of coming back from a pretty terrible position. They go into the second half, and it's just a full power display so far. They're challenging and fighting Mouse Sports all over the place, and Mouse Sports suffering from sort of a similar problem as to the one that NIP was having on their first half. It's just that all these fights are being lost all over the place, you know? Yeah. Maybe, and NIP took a long time to adjust here. Mouse Sports have currently lost a couple of rounds in a row. It's time to maybe, I mean, obviously this is going to be Nico for them. And Speedy with the phaser. Thanks, Speedy. But you've got to wonder how quickly they can adjust here.
Exactly, and it's going to have to happen in the next round. And they are actually spending money in this round. Wow. Well, okay then.
Why?
Down to 1,300 on Next. Just hard eco, guys. Just hard eco. Obviously, this is CS:GO, and pistols are good. So I mean, there's an outside chance. Or do you just bank on getting as much as you can for the next round and shutting Nip down with some passive play? I mean, well, we'll see. Nico's always a threat with the Deagle, but Dennis and Next going for it as well. Speedy investing in Kevlar.
Kevlar taser.
Let's see it.
Metagame reinvented.
Where's he even playing with the damn
thing? He's playing right there on the stairwell. So
it could work. It's a smart place to play with it.
It definitely is. Freiburg, he'd also be a good player to kill. I think Freiburg would be pretty angry if something went wrong there, but nice little Molotov to zone him out. What I'm looking for Nico in this round. With the Deagle, Nico is so lethal.
He's on B site right now, though. He's rotating up to A at this point, so he might be thinking, okay, I can get over to long if they've shown themselves there. I can have an impact with the Deagle, long range. Look for those one-taps. Is Juan Deeg his friend today? That's what we need to see here from Nico.
NIP doing something very smart, which is just sort of avoiding the close quarter fight here down in connector. They're going to be a little bit close, but Speedy going to get shut down. Get right with a good double kill. Looking to see if he can get a third one. Chris trapped in the corner, and, well, it'll be threat to get that kill. Nico now. Dennis actually coming up from behind. Nico's also going to be in a lot of trouble here. He does pick up one, gets the AK, and looks for a bit more, but it's not going to happen, and that makes a difference. I mean, again, the money on NIP is skyrocketing at the moment. They're also 4 rounds ahead. And Mouse Sports, because they made all these buys, they can't even put together a reasonable buy this round.
It's a quasi-buy again for them. So they really are going to have their backs to the wall here, Mouse Sports. This should mean that Nip get up to 13 rounds. Just want to point out as well, Anders, Threat is still top fragging on this map.
Yeah.
19 kills. Maybe we got to be careful. The return of Threat? Could it be possible?
Still got to wonder if Chris and Next can have more of an impact here. And I think especially Chris, when he has money for the AWP, that's where you really got to hope that they can put something together here. Bit of a rush going into the B-bomb site, and they don't have the weaponry to try and deal with this at all. Dennis will have got 1 kill in. Nico's hiding in the smoke here. Here's the bomb going down, trying to see if he can rush out. He's going to stop that from happening, so a good trade going into it. I don't think they were expecting for someone to be in the smoke, because they had already checked out on the other side. They simply weren't ready for it. And now it's going to be a 4-on-3, but the bomb, I mean, it's on Forest right now. And IPS, they should be able to recover this position just fine. As long as they don't lose anyone else.
This is that trap you can fall into where you just, you put that smoke down and you assume nobody's going to push through it. It's like a wall, right? In some players' minds, they're just like, nope, nobody's going to come through that. But you have to assume that the risk is there. And Spitty, mad spray, nearly takes out Forrest. He will get revenged by Get Right. Chris J, though, could actually catch out Forrest, but Get Right catches him first. Now it's just Dennis and Nex.
Why on earth did Chris turn his back to that stairwell? I mean, they obviously knew there was a couple of players there. But even if he wanted to check behind him, surely he should have walked out of that angle, you know?
Quad kill for Get Right, though. Just saying. He really saved the day.
I have absolutely no clue how Forrest survived that. Because the damage happened with the first couple of bullets, and then all the rest just sort of traced around him. And if Forrest goes down, they're playing a 2-on-4. I mean, I think everything hinged on Forrest somehow living in that fight. I think this is it. I think if Mousesports can win this round, we still have a game on our hands, and if not, I think NIP are going to be blazing through.
Yes, I agree.
Then that'll be it.
Well, that's where, I mean, all their money is spent this round. Mousesports, of course, they'll be on like maximum loss running in the next round, but look at this straight rush coming out from NIP, even canceling the incendiary with the smoke, just goes charging forward. Freiberg in full entry fragger mode. He's just going to go for the battle. He's spoiling for it, flashes his way into pull, and is he actually going to find the kill? No, he doesn't. Get Right instead does.
Steals it, but also some karma there as he goes down right afterwards. Freiberg, he will finally get his share, and it's going to be Nex going down. A really, really tough retake here. 3-on-4, and Mousesports, again, they don't have the money to throw these rifles away, so you have to make a quick choice here. Do you want to go fight for it, or do you want to try and save and see if you can't maybe bring it back? Dennis going to pick up the 1 kill there on Freiberg. It is a good start, and Forrest, he should be going down, but instead he gets too speedy, a little bit slow out on the balcony, and that's going to be it. They're going to have to fall back here. NIP at 14 rounds. They're now just going to be 2 away from making it, again, well, sort of saving their legend status and making it to the nationwide arena. It's so close now.
They are so close, Nip, and again, Chris J next, just not able to come through when Mousesports desperately need them. Chris needs to trade with Forrest every day, all day. Look at this. Forrest, he has like 1 billion years to get this spray into him. That cannot be allowed to happen. You have to be more effective. 14-8, and yeah, now it's Mousesports finally calling the pause. But it's so, I mean, they have so far to go now. Money is just sick on Nip. They have money for days at this point. Mousesports, 3,400, 4,700 is the best that they have, but the rest of them are all floating around that 3,600 mark.
And they have been going for just a lot of force-ups, Mousesports, or at least where they just sort of, they buy a couple of deagles and everything else. I mean, in the long run, it could come back to haunt you a little bit. So I don't know what's ultimately causing this, but NIP on the second half of it, we're sort of theorizing, playing the terrorist side, threat not being, on the CT side. But I mean, even he hasn't really been the weak link on the CT side, but still.
No, he's been fantastic this match.
Yeah, he's been very, very good. I mean, overall, it's been a really, really good second half for NIP. And Mousesports, I mean, the adjustments that we'd like to see, they haven't come yet. They just haven't been able to adjust to it.
No, it's just, I mean, and this is one of the fundamental things is basically if you're not hitting your shots, it doesn't matter what strat you've got, you're just going to get run over. And right now, Mousesports, it feels like they're playing with half a team. Even Nico isn't going like full monster mode.
No, but also there's been so many rounds where they haven't even had rifles, right? But I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's true if you're not hitting your shots, but at least you should still try to change, right? If you're just playing into the same style again and again and again, then you can't expect a different outcome. Isn't that like the definition of insanity? Just replaying the same thing and expecting a different outcome. I think that's what it is right now for Mousesports. They've gone temporarily insane.
Well, I think that, they might just lose their minds after this. They've come so close. Katowice was not the result that they were looking for. Now here at the major, they're about to go out, and one of the best groups for them as well. One of the best groups for them as well. I mean, Mousesports right now is just nightmare.
I mean, I think this group, I would